out maybe. Just a little bit. Not too bad. But so much as I'm kind of ready. We are now live. And my iPad is in the other room. Let me get this pulled up and I can make sure that the sound's going. Cool. We've got sound, we've got ship, we've got a couple players, got more player coming, some players not, but get that all set.
Here we are.
That's loading. That's going to have a freaking tap in a second. Sorry, not 100% ready right at 5, but you know how it works. Building the entire crew out for you guys. But I've got them. Whole crew is selected and built out, ready to go. I don't have all their cards set, but I have the stuff to make their cards. I've got each one of them built on D&D Beyond as well. So that's what we really need. It's all the sidekicks set up, ready to go. Make sure that that's all ready. Okay. One last thing. Let me grab my drink, and then we'll get all started. Where the heck is my drink? Cup. Oh, cup.
That's exactly where you left it.
I swear I set it across to bring it over. Set Alex is there.
Yeah. That's why I don't drink soda here.
Did you lose your cup?
Oh no, I opened this like I put a couple in my bag and I opened this like 2 minutes ago and it's gone.
Just gone immediately. Yeah.
It's gone.
No,
I just drink a lot of fluid, and I don't really take into account whether it's
found it.
soda or
Yeah.
coffee or
I'm getting better.
liquor. Or it's
Not great.
I just drink a lot of fluid.
I do have an interesting one if anyone wants to try it. It's
Huh?
a dark cherry Angry Orchard.
What?
In the fridge, in the door.
Heard that.
If anybody wants to try one. I also
Because the Angry Orchards are coming back to the store.
Huh?
The Angry Orchards are coming back to the store right now.
Are they?
Yeah. I still have a couple. I still have a few at the house, but oh no, Angry Orchard, not. I'm thinking Thrashing Apple.
Mm.
No, Angry Orchard. No, I think I've had the black cherry one before. Angry Orchard's good. Cider. Braining.
Yes, Angry Orchard is a cider.
Braining.
I also have Dos Equis, Honey Brown, and Bud Light in there if anybody wants
Heard that.
something else. But I'm going to get my caffeine and sugar to keep me going through the game. As we get set, we will welcome everybody and do all the normal stuff. I apologize. Just in the process of building an entire freaking universe, entire second crew. My favorite thing is that we picked out the undead crew, so I have all the undead crew all set up, prepared, ready to go. I've got name cards, personalities, freaking watches, rotations, shifts, freaking relationships, ideals, bonds, flaws, everything for the entire Eternals crew, because that's what we chose to go with.
First ever girlfriend.
And now they're oh yeah. No, they're really fun because all of them, their names are related to how they joined the Eternals crew or how they died
Oh yeah.
in some way, so it's kind of fun. Or something along the lines of that. Something that ties them to the crew. They have normal names as well, but this crew is less of that. They just have names because they're just Smiths for the most part. But
Baby.
now they're all set. Welcome to Oceanbound, episode 31.
Yeah, I wrote that down today. I was like, dang.
31 episodes. And that doesn't include the pre-episodes. So 3 pre-episodes, I think? Yeah, 3 pre-episodes. So a little bit of time. Once we... Eventually I want to get the full website established, and if it ever takes off, put the pre-episodes in too. But it was kind of one of those things where I wanted to not have all of your backgrounds and stuff like that as
Concrete.
visible. I just thought it kind of gives anybody who watches, which is... Well, there's one person watching right now, other than me. Unless, or do one of you guys have Rumble open? So yeah, so we're watching. But thank you guys for joining. I mean, there's one video that we have that has like 28 likes, like 150 views. A couple of them are like pretty long views as well. No comments. And then it has like 2 like dislikes. I'm like, yeah. That's when you know you're making is when people are like, I hate this.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Well, you see, they watched it long enough to form an opinion.
which is like, screw that, it's stupid.
It's like, I bathe in your hatred like the glow of warm sunshine.
Yeah, exactly. I like it. I would say like you know, and I stole this from somebody else, but it's that whole idea of your success isn't just measured by how many people like you, but also by how many people hate you.
Yep.
Something along that, paraphrasing.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're saying.
Believe it was Manson who said something along the line to that I first heard it from.
That makes sense.
I'm sure a lot of people have said something.
There's a lot of love-hate going towards that guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just get so mad when they make up the stupid rumors, because I'm like, some of the stuff that the rumors are based off of are such brutal stories. Anyways, we will get into D&D.
Moving along.
We digress.
Episode 31, Oceanbound. Be sure to join us on your favorite platform. If you join us on Rumble, I do have Rumble up, so I will show you this. This is what you'll see on Rumble. So I have the live chat up. There's not a lot of people watching right now. Oh, more people signed in. So I know it's not you because I didn't sign you in, and I don't expect you to just like find Rumble. That one's a rough one. I don't remember if I downloaded the app on there or okay.
I have the app.
Okay. So anyways, there's other people watching, but Rumble, I'll have the live chat up. So if you have any questions, comments, jump in. Maybe if one of you guys was there paying attention, you could have been like, hey, dumbass, it's intelligence score, not intelligence modifier. And actually, Golrag can move at a speed of 45, and Norn can move at a speed of like 70. But no, I didn't know that because it had been so long. And the funny thing is, like, I'm going to throw it out there, just mention.
It's the simplest mistake where just another set of eyeballs could be like, hey.
Somebody who DM'd before, very limited DM that I had, allowed me to move 15 feet up in the air. We were doing all theater of mind for the most part, but it's like, yeah, you float about 15 feet up in the air, and my intelligence modifier was a 3. So that's kind of where it just kind of got stuck. It's the first time I had the experience of it, because my guy was much more intelligent than that, and should have like lifted way up in the air, but he just barely lifted off the ground. I was like, okay, cool. So it just kind of was, it's one of those things where the first time you use a rule, that's how the rule just gets ingrained in your brain.
Oh, yeah. It's the way I've always done it. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the right way, but it's the way you've always done it.
But the party is in the astral seat. You're currently piloted by a slightly larger crew, and I will introduce you guys to some of the crew, let you know what you're looking at. First of all, already shown on the map is 1 through 6. They are floating orbs, just 2 little, it just kind of looks like a melon-sized, grapefruit-sized floating orb, and these orbs are silver. They kind of look like they're made out of metal with like glass around them, and they have 2 little pin pricks that just have light, but they communicate, they talk. They all have almost the same exact voice. Looks like whatever made them kind of just programmed them with their own voice. But we have 1 through 6 marked as such: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. they don't really seem to have much of a personality. It's more they just seem to be kind of like a floating book. So imagine like a personal assistant. I won't use any of their names, but one of the ones that you can be like, you know, or well, I don't have an Alexa, so you could be like, hey Alexa, and just like blah 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 blah. So it's kind of, think of them kind of like that, but a little bit more of a personality, a bit of charisma, a bit of wisdom, a bit of intelligence. No strength, no con, no dex score, no real ability to do anything, and each one of them just floats around at about a speed of 30, but a lot of them just kind of float and just kind of stay somewhere. And then when they're called on, they'll move around, but they'll float around, kind of watch what's going on, a little bit of a perception of what's around. Vaguest, like the most vague semblance of sentience, but they don't seem to be like, have like a personality. You also have Bareth. Bareth is the captain of the ship, who will just kind of chill there. Not actually the captain anymore. He's the captain of the Engineers crew. Warforged, specializes in vehicles, siege combat, stuff like that. He has the most information, or no, most knowledge of that, but for the most part, he's specialized in vehicles. Which is why he was their captain, but obviously you guys have Norin as captain, so he's more of first mate at this point.
I'm sure he's just freaking giddy to be here.
Yeah. You have Charter. Charter is Warforged. Seems to kind of be maybe like a wizard type. Uses lots of divination magic, and I'm actually going to put him in the chart room because this makes sense. Kind of funny chart room, but he is the quartermaster, specialized in tracking where you're going and handling things like that. You've got.
That's dyslexia for you.
What?
I'm writing down I'm shorthanding quartermaster, and I wrote half-master. Like in my head, I'm like, all right, I'll write quartermaster. All right, 1/2. Yep,
Yeah.
That's how I fuck things up since I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
Like to say the number in my head and write the wrong number.
Rock the math.
Dude, my thing is freaking numbers now. Like I struggle with numbers now. I look back and I'm like, wow, I'm pretty sure I was really dyslexic, and that's why I struggled with certain things in school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could do it verbally, but like on paper, I just struggled with certain things.
Oh yeah.
But at work, there's one specific, and they don't do it anymore. But we used to have one section where it's 3 tables, and it was table 221, table 112, and table 211.
Oh.
And it was just like
Rough.
numbers moving.
Just take those 3 up and just move them around.
Yeah, I was just like, or no, sorry. Yeah, 112, 211, and 121. And so it was like, yeah, just the 2 moved through it, and it's just like going through and stare at the screen, click it, and I'm like, that's not the one I want.
Table is
I have to really like break it down and be like, it couldn't be 112. It had to be 1, 1, 2, and be like 1, 1, 2. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Otherwise, just this just jumble of numbers. You have Valbrek Thundercrest, Dwarven male, somebody who you've interacted with before, who's their former bosun, or the crew's bosun, but is now kind of your assistant since you're officially the bosun. But he was the guy who kind of made fun of you for having the gloves. That helped you?
Yeah. Right. Now he's your royal ass kisser.
Yeah.
He's dwarven. He doesn't kiss too much ass.
No.
Then you have Venzus. Venzus is the surgeon. Because don't really have there isn't really a setup for a surgeon's quarters here. I don't know if you guys want to set something up for that. In most ships you'd have that, so like in a sailing ship They always have the medical cabin. But in this ship, you actually don't have a medical cabin. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna double check and make sure that I'm not wrong. But I'm like, I don't remember ever seeing a medical cabin. You've got forecaster.
Nobody ever gets hurt in the astral sea. It's okay.
Yeah, you've got a saloon, a mess hall, the companionway's the hallway. You've got 2 bathrooms. You've got captain's quarters. You've got galley. You've got officer's quarters. You've got the sail locker, spelljammer's quarters, chart room, spelljamming helm, armory, crew quarters, storage, stateroom, and cargo hold. So you don't actually have an infirmary or anything like that. So you guys can figure out what you want to do with that. We'll talk
Hack
that
some
out.
space out of cargo, probably.
You can cut a space out of cargo.
I was thinking either that or the stateroom, because I don't think we're going to be doing a whole lot of stately things.
Stateroom was thought to become the teleportation circle room.
Yeah.
Right.
That would be stately.
So
We're also going to be
however you
not
want
going to
to
be specifically doing a lot of cargoing, but that definitely seems like the best option right now.
But for now, she'll be in the saloon because you know what? The saloon works for her.
I have no home. Fuck it, I'll just drink.
And then you've got Eanston Fiddlecraft. Eanston is your master gunner. And Gnome Male will be helping with fitting your cannons and getting everything all set up that you added to the ship. Moving down the line, you've got, so those are the officers. So you have your captain, who is now first mate. Note on that. Lest you guys want to change anything, but I'm guessing Norin doesn't want to step down as captain of the role. And we're going to call him.
I was about to say not without a fight, I don't think.
So you've got the first mate, you've got a second bosun, the surgeon, the quartermaster, and the master gunner. Those are the officers that you have aboard the ship currently. Get you covered on most things. What are we missing? Where's my card? Oh, you know what I'm missing. Come on, I have another card that helps this. Do I not have another card? Oh, it's in here. Right on top. Not right on top. Here's my card.
Now, do the Orbeez seem to be following anyone in particular now that they're here, or are they just kind of like...
They kind of float around and they just kind of
about?
pay attention to what's going on and will engage. Let's see. So we have captain, first mate, bosun, surgeon, quartermaster. Don't have a cook. Master gunner. Now, granted, that being the case, you don't necessarily need a cook because you guys are on the astral sea, and you've noticed that you don't need to eat while out here. No thirst, no hunger, no real understanding of time. It's kind of hard to feel like you don't have a sun, you don't have things like that. So it's very different. But you do have a saloon, you have a mess hall, and a galley. All three of those could be worked really well together to make into, you can use the galley to make ales and...
Does time actually pass differently out here, or do we just lose any like perception of it? Don't know.
You kind of have like still that like needs to take long rests at certain points, but your understanding of how the time is passing is kind of hard to tell.
I might have suffering from that non-24 stuff.
I'm gonna get one more of these. I'm gonna write out the crew for this ship for now. You want to keep as the bosun?
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Ship. We've got a captain. We've got a first mate. We've got a bosun. Surgeon. We've got a quartermaster. base is covered. We'll put down cook and then master gunner. Cool. Now that that's written there, we'll write in pencil, because not that I'm planning on killing you guys, but if the ship outlasts anybody, let's be able to erase them and, you know, put it in. Ship, we're currently the hammer. Talking about possibly adding an adjective. Might help. Having a hammerhead ship being a common type of ship, you might find other ships called the hammer, but who knows? You've got Captain Norin. Your first mate is currently Bareth. The bosun is Golrak. Your surgeon, of course, is Venzis. Last name is Segelnegel.
Another gnome?
Yes.
That's a gnome name if I ever heard it.
Yeah, that was one of the randomly generated ones. I was like, give me female gnome, and I was like, I'm just gonna pick the first one. Zenzis Zegelnegel. And then your quartermaster is Charter. You don't have a cook currently. Your master gunner, Eanston Fiddlecraft. Cool. So we have the crew established. So that. You can put Betty White away again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Got all their knowledges and languages and all that stuff as well. Okay, moving on. So those are the main people, all your officers. Non-officers, you've got Beetle, Warforged mage type. Beetle seems to help with fixing things around the ship, crafting type stuff. You've got Cargrim Coldmane, who is a dwarven mage type. You'll notice that he walks around and he does little like glyphs and wards and blessings on the ship. It talks about a lot about needing diamonds. If you guys get a bunch of diamonds, he can set up a bunch of really cool options for you. Load the armory with some glyphs that'll really just seal in some power. You've got Sentinel. Sentinel is a Warforged. Focuses on weaponsmithing. You guys have seen him working with some weaponsmithing. Up top, working with getting some mounts made. Talking about setting up 3 mounts for the cannons so that they're lifted and they're mounted and they can kind of have a wider range. And that way you don't have to like roll them to one side, roll them to the other side. Doing something like that. You have Adam, who's a Warforged who focuses on armor smithing. But still a smith, still helping out with getting the basics built. You have Gemril Firebleeder, who's a dwarven female. Helps a lot with the quartermaster and seems to be very confused on this, as her expertise is nature, oceans, travel, and nothing here quite is the same. But she's currently helping with Charter and adapting to the change of life that they're in. You have Zero. Zero is a Warforged who seems kind of bardic in nature. He is currently performing on the stage, and he just kind of stays there and has fun with that. You have chain deer.
Sorry if I had to just break and see Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, Warford, yeah, he's just out there. Hi, kids.
Just doing his thing on the stage.
Right.
Performance mode. Well, he's asleep.
He's not even, the cymbals aren't even touching each other, but you just say offbeat with what he's doing. Always love that. Like the music would be so far off with anything they're doing. They're playing the guitar and they're just doing this.
So bad, but so good.
What was it? A Magic Carpet Ride was always a big one. I don't know why. Do you maybe it's just me, but Magic Carpet Ride is just engraved in my head anytime I think of Showbiz Pizza or Chuck E. Cheese's. Anyways, chain deer, Warforged, mage type as well, and seems to focus on some conjuration type stuff. He will be back here watching. We can talk about, and you'll notice that at times he'll summon, and just like a little sprite shows up, and you see, or he'll just summon a little, like that fey creature that kind of moves around and helps him with stuff. Dismiss. And in a bind, they mention that if they need help with doing extra things, he can just summon in a bunch of familiars that just can help. And they're just these little robots that he summons in and do stuff. And then lastly, you have Mircil Boulder Eyes, who's a female dwarf who's also kind of bard-like, who will be on stage singing and playing with Zero. A couple people in there enjoying, and actually, since they're all there, he will move to guard. We'll be down here, just watching and observing. And you'll see that the orbs, they'll just move to where, like if somebody walks into an area and starts doing something, they'll just go to another area. Just try to kind of go through and just keep an eye on what's going around, so no one, in theory, can be sneaking around. If a member of the crew, if you walk in and be like, go away, they'll just leave. So you guys can still do your sneaking around if you want. But that is the current crew of the Hammer. Your guys are yourselves included. All of them are all drawn up as well. Before we get into the next, whenever we get into a situation in which there's combat, which I do have some options for, we will assign them as sidekicks, so you guys will have access to them. You'll be able to just hit your extras, and they'll be there. They'll have spells, spell slots, different things like that, just depending on what you want to do. So it's kind of a fun little option. That way, if we get into another really big ship combat, it's not me playing with myself. Rather, you guys can each do that. There are several.
So we can play with Dave. He said.
Basically.
Slow pitch.
There's 13 of them right now. In theory, you want to get about 15 to run this crew properly. And they're talking about picking up a few extras who they're in contact with. Possibly getting you guys up to like 16. If you got the crew up to 15 or 16, you would each have 3 or 4 sidekicks while on the ship for ship-to-ship combat. Nice thing with that is it may seem like a lot, but let's say you have the cannon mounted. You can literally just be like, okay, cool. Well, I want my 3 guys to go load, aim, fire, and that's their actions. And so you can literally just shoot the cannon. So it's not a whole lot of stuff. Just it comes up, be like, he'll load, he'll aim, he'll fire, and then go through. So with siege combat, it makes it a little easier. But on to unfinished business. Time does seem to move maybe a little different here. You don't really need to do the things that you would normally do. in everyday life. Just pull this up. That's not what I'm looking for. Give you a description. You find that while you're in the astral plane, you know what I'm looking for? Oh, hey, that's Alex calling. The door's locked. Hello, the door's locked?
Yes, sir.
That's what I thought. Awesome, cool. We'll send somebody up to grab you right now. Yep. All right, bye. You got it?
I got it.
Thank you, sir. Stop playing? Oh, stop playing. We lost our connection because of the phone. Trying to find. I know we have this. Wait, it loads. If it loads. Why are you not? Oh. Is this our crew?
Yeah, you just got stage ready.
Yes, I just did a full introduction. You'll have to.
Perfect. I'll watch the recap.
Right.
Sorry for the interruption.
Oh, you're fine.
Just get it
I'm
where it
actually
feels like.
struggling to find the
Just get it where
note
it feels like.
I wanted
Oh, well.
to give you
I was just
guys.
playing D&D in real life, so...
Well, that's cool. I mean, if
So
that's
who'd you
more
murder,
important to
Hobo?
you than us, then
Who did you murder, Hobo?
I helped kill 5 kobolds and 3 bugbears.
Nice.
It's fantastic.
So you call your coworkers kobolds and bugbears?
Students at Vista Ridge High School.
Okay.
Wish it was my coworkers. They don't. It'd be less pretend.
yeah. So while out in the astral sea or in the astral plane, of course, creatures, you don't suffer hunger or thirst, and you don't age. So you still need to sleep. So you kind of have a little bit of a feel of kind of what a day is off of that. Like sort of you're like, oh wow, I'm kind of getting tired. Like I could use some sleep. Also, so you've got that. But as far as how the other realms and stuff like that are affected, you're not 100% sure. I don't know where you want him at.
He'd just be chilling with me for now.
Just chilling with you.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't know where you want to be. I don't know where you want to be. I don't know where you want to be.
Where am I?
Norin is spell jamming. I got you. So you're right there. I'm gonna set you guys off the ship until you tell me where you want to be. Some people are in the saloon. The healer is currently mixing up drinks, and just joking around. And you've got 2 people who are on stage performing.
Gorak is in the saloon.
Gorak in the saloon. Spell. Yeah.
Quiz is in the crow's nest.
There's not really necessarily
Okay.
a crow's
The
nest.
top of the main mast. Whatever that is.
Give me an athletics. Because there is a mast, but with the way that it's set up, it just doesn't really give me a crow's nest. You could always build a crow's nest if you wanted, but you just have to be careful because at that point you're kind of close to the edge of your air bubble.
Oh, don't want to fall out.
Things can easily kind of try to, if something wanted to try to pull you out or something, you can. But athletics,
19.
19. We're going to put you right here. That's the highest point that I have on anything. We'll call that the crow's nest effect. I don't have anything, yeah. So we'll say you're there, and it would be, let's see, this, the way it shows me my mass, that's, you're looking at, it's right to there. You're looking about 25 feet up is the top of it. It's not like a huge mast on this. The ship is still more so controlled by the magical engine, the spell jamming chair. But we'll say you're 25 feet up there. Eli?
I want Eli to kind of kick it in one of the glass dome areas.
So you've got the one with everybody in it, that's the saloon, and you've got the mess hall with nobody in it, except for one of the orbs.
She's gonna go kick it in the mess hall then. She can read. She's
Cool.
just delving deep into her book on Amunet. Or Amunet, sorry.
When you go in, you'll see that the orb just kind of sees that you float in, and will just float out of the room. They tend to kind of keep guard of places and keep an eye on things. So if you're in a place, they'll just kind of not bother you unless you engage with it.
Well, we had set our course.
Yes.
Right.
So you guys are setting your course, and Norin is currently spell jamming you on the way there. The crew joined in, but before we start, this is the crew joined in, kind of got stuff all set in, loaded in equipment, made sure everything was kind of settled in. You guys are prepared to start putting in your upgrades and establishing where you're going to have your upgrades at. While traveling, so you guys have a circle, which we talked about putting in the stateroom. You guys have the Defiant sails that need to be put up. Which won't take too long, but it's doable. Smuggler's banner. Again, the smuggler's banner has to be drawn, and once it's up, anybody who looks upon it sees it as a friendly banner, and then you can use an action to teleport yourself away. If you take it down, then it has to be brought back up, which takes an action, and then activated, which takes an action, so it takes a little bit more time to get it loaded or get it ready if you don't always have it up. You have your guardian figurehead. Which you guys will have to figure out how you're going to mount that. And then you have the concussive cannons, which they're talking about putting on mounts so that they can have like a 360-degree spin and then a good pitch to it as well. I believe that's everything. The rest of the stuff is all Betty White. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So they'll start getting stuff put in place and start working with some different ideas and such on how exactly they're going to mount this and go about it. moving things in, getting initially established, they don't get any real major work started that first day. Just mostly move stuff in, talking about it, going over blueprints, just planning things out. As we call the first night of you guys all being there with the full crew, and you all go to rest while Spell takes through the astral sea. Which brings us to what did you say? Did you say to me? See, hold on. Oh, of course you're not here. Q3, where is it? I need my I had it in here and it's not in here anymore. This will work, probably. No, because it's not going to have that. Was it in here? Did I have it? No. Where is it? Almost there. We'll just go with this and hope that this sounds good. Gorak, as you go to sleep, you start to dream, and you just awaken. You're on the shore of a vast ocean, rain pouring down on you, waves lapping at your feet. Huge storm clouds above you, mountains behind you. You see lightning striking the distance and near you. It seems like feels like a dream, but you have control over what you're doing. You have a understanding. It feels like perhaps there's some weird twist of wild magic or who knows what. You're thrust back into the material plane perhaps. But you don't recognize this shore. You don't recognize the mountains behind you. Mountains seem to stretch both ways as far as you can see, disappearing into the horizon. The ocean disappears off. It's just a wall behind you and a sea in front of you. Beach stretching off to the left and right, and thunderclouds above. What do you do?
Make sand angels.
I mean, that's almost my idea. My first thing would be to just start to feel my surroundings. I'd reach down and grab at the sand or whatever's at my feet at the beach and just try to feel at it and figure out what's going on.
You feel out the sand and it feels familiar. It's that kind of tough pull but give, where that sand that's filled with seawater that's kind of lapping up struggles a little bit against your pull as you're right by the shore, but it clears. You're lying on a beach.
I'm lying on the beach.
Yeah, you're like, you wake up and you're lying on the beach with the water at your feet, kind of coming up maybe almost to your waist on the bigger waves.
Well, then I am going to pull myself up, and then I guess I'm going to start to walk along the edge of the water where the waves are breaking to just see if I could see anything.
Do you walk to your left or to your right?
Left.
You die. No.
Has to be.
Wrong
Talk about
decision.
decision.
Wrong decision.
Talk about decision
50-50.
making. Like, son of a
Guy,
bitch.
in theory, you've got to go left.
It's like I was not ready for that today. Should have warned me.
So you start to walk along the beach, and as you're going, you just feel this water pouring down on you from above, the waves crashing into you below. And there's this sense of electricity within you. You just feel that though the rain's coming down and should be, causing the hairs in your arms to cling down, you just feel that static electricity that's causing your hairs to kind of stand on end. And you feel this energy in the air around you. Relatively familiar to you.
Do I have my stuff with me?
You have all your basic stuff with you.
So I woke up with everything on me.
Everything you went to sleep with.
Then I would.
So you probably don't have your shield on you. You probably don't have your backpack.
Then I will pull my hammer off my belt and just kind of start tossing it in there and see what it starts to do.
Kind of throw it up in the air and
Just like
charges a little bit. Your thunder booming off in the distance. Every time you you throw your hammer up and you hear lightning. And as you catch it, you just hear thunder, but it's off in the distance, but it seems to kind of, you change your pace a little bit, and every time you throw your hammer up, you hear lightning crack. And every time it catches in your hand, you hear thunder boom. But what feels like miles away.
You became Thor. Wield that shit.
Oh, yeah, have you seen him hitting with his thunder and lightning hammer before?
Yeah.
It'll do it just a little bit. We'll get there. Then I guess I'm gonna just keep walking, and as I walk, I'm gonna take a big step and just chuck my hammer up as high in the sky as I can, and then just keep walking and wait for it to come back.
You throw your hammer as high as you can. Give me a strength check.
Check. 21.
21. Throw up. Lightning cracks. And you watch as it goes up. And it almost seems like it disappears up into the clouds, which are too high above you. And then you're waiting. You kind of do your thing where you're like, and it doesn't return to you.
Well, this isn't ideal. It's the one thing that thing is supposed to do is come back. Especially if you throw it.
It holds elements, and it comes back to you.
Yep, it's its job.
This and anything you throw up, in theory, should come back down.
And that way, yeah. I'd definitely be a little bit concerned, but at this point, I would maybe just start walking the other direction and trying to figure out what the heck's going on. Because this all again seems very real. Like I have my stuff, so best I can tell, this is all the material, some material plane, at least a different place from where I am. You said behind me is mountains. Is it like a cliff?
It's pretty sheer, rough mountains.
around and see if I can't find a way up.
You start looking up to see where it's at, and your hammer comes and strikes you from behind. You take 16 bludgeoning damage and 17 lightning damage.
A double ow?
And then the hammer is just lying on the ground next to you as you see this massive amount of electrical energy kind of dissipating from it that you're pretty sure most of clung to you once it hit you.
Just absorb that.
So I'm not going to go pick that thing up. I'm going to go kick it.
You watch, I mean, the lightning, it's not there. You go and you kick it, and just flops over.
Something definitely screwy is going on here. I do not. Well, did that happen as I was looking up to figure
You're
out?
like looking up, you're like, how am I going to climb this thing? And just wham! Like, this is a good minute and a half after you threw it up in the air.
I didn't think I threw it that hard.
Plus, also, you like walked and you threw it, and then you like turned around and then hooked up to look towards this mountain range.
Like I said, I didn't think I threw it that hard. It's not. It's supposed to hit me when it comes back.
It doesn't like boomerang back to you. You throw it, it hits something, and then it just appears in your hand, like teleports back to you.
Teleports even.
Usually with a faint crackle of energy. So like if you charge it with your lightning, when you throw it, you see this little like static lightning bolt kind of come back to you. If it's charged with fire, you see this little like streak of firelight, kind of like what you'd expect from like a magician with like flash paper, just a little trail of quick burst fire that doesn't really put off heat, more so just a flash. I don't think you charge it with anything but.
Then in that case, I'm going to pick that sucker up and put it back on my belt and continue looking for a way to climb up and at least try to get a better viewpoint about where I'm at.
You're looking at the mountains. Give me a perception. You look up and you're kind of seeing, you're like, yeah, there's like a decent little clearing of a platform above you. It's a little bit of a rough climb to get there, but you could climb up to it pretty well, and from there you can possibly see. And as you're looking, the lightning strikes, and you see that platform just kind of, and rock kind of crumbles down towards you. Not close enough to hit you. Thunder just rolls behind it. Give me insight.
A 6?
A 6. Almost feels less like thunder and more like a growl. Like a form of anger from the clouds themselves.
Well, since it seems that nothing that I'm doing immediately is changing any of my situation, I will again take my hammer off. I'll go throw it I'll go sit it right on the edge of the water, and then I will go walk back away from the waves and just kind of sit down and listen to the rain.
You set down the hammer.
Yeah.
And you go and you sit down, you kind of listen to the rain, and you watch as lightning strikes right near where the hammer is. The hammer comes flying straight for you, hits you, doing 14 points of bludgeoning damage, 12 points of lightning damage.
Your hammer's kicking your ass.
And you just hear the thunder again. As that lightning hits you, you just feel this almost anger in the thunder.
But I guess since my hammer's still beating me up, I will retrieve it and just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, who have I pissed off? Because something is literally trying to kill me right now.
You hear rain, you hear lightning, you hear thunder. The thunder again roars. Lightning strikes behind you, relatively close. Thunder cracks with this low roar. Feeling the tingle throughout your body as the hair stands up. Every once in a while, it's like a little charge peaks from your weapon, as if it's not quite enough energy for it to store a charge, but there's electricity in the air that it's trying to latch onto.
Okay, then let's see about this. I take notice of that, and then I I walk out into the water about waist deep, and then I try and catch a charge into my hammer.
Start to walk out with this in mind. Give me a dexterity saving throw.
Ooh. $18.
You save, taking half damage, which is 18 points of lightning damage as a bolt of lightning strikes right in front of you in the water. Oh, angry thunder rolls behind it, seeming to echo off the mountains behind and then dissipate off into the ocean.
This angry storm is going to knock me out.
Don't forget, you could technically use your reaction to absorb part of that. So, if you use your reaction, you can roll a d6 and reduce the lightning damage by that much, and basically holds one charge of the lightning bolt that hit you. You kind of had in mind to do that, but yeah, I know it's one of the things you don't do with that weapon as much.
Because that was my intention about getting
Roll a d6.
Jack this
Yeah.
most recent time.
Yeah. 3. So you can restore 3 hit points. And lightning, or that weapon now has a lightning charge within it.
Hooray! Oh. this point, like, Kolrak is just really mad and confused and frustrated and probably a little bit scared because he has no fucking idea what's going on. I've been poking around and shit.
How mad are you?
Yeah, I definitely say we're there. At this point, like, I'm almost freaking. I've been freaking jacked by lightning 3 solid times now, so Kolrak has definitely gone into a rage, trying to figure out what the fuck is going on.
The lightning strikes you and you go into a rage. When you go into a rage, the first thing you notice is that your vision blurs just a little bit. What you notice is it's not that your vision is blurred, but it's that the aura around you is now holding droplets of water. So this heavy rain in 10-foot radius around you is now just the rain seems to have almost completely stopped. You're seeing this static energy kind of arcing across it. You hear a voice booming. It seems like far off in the distance. It says, "I can only speak to you through your rage. I'm glad I didn't have to kill you to find it."
Well, I'm glad you didn't have to kill me too, because I don't want to die to figure out what the fuck is going on right here. Where the fuck am I? What the fuck is this? Who are you and why? What's going on?
You are growing strong, Golrak. You have caught my attention. You can earn my reward. All I ask is that along your path and through your rage, you serve me. The lightning strikes around you.
I enjoy the idea of somebody's attention being caught, but the idea of servitude does not appeal to me.
You've already served me well. This is why you have my attention. I am not like the others. You do not need to give coin. You do not need to speak of your alliance. Simply ask that you, through your deeds, bring my will with you.
Well, it already seems as though I am carrying your will with me as it is. So what more do you want from this transaction?
I want more of your rage. I want more of the storm within you unleashed.
Those are both things that sound very appealing to me, especially in the current situation that I find myself in and my life in general. I don't feel like there's any shortage of rage.
Then go forth, Gorak. Become the storm's rage. Go forth and spread the fury within you. You kind of look up and you see that you're noticing now that in the clouds there's almost this formation, just looks like this Titanus being just giant of giants formed out of storm cloud itself. The lightning crackles within it. You see this energy there, two big glowing eyes. Now as you realize it goes through, two lightning bolts strike you. See, dexterity saving throws. You're raging, so you have advantage.
Well, I got advantage on dexterity.
Oh, those went everywhere.
You did that. I felt them
rolled
bouncing off
right
my
down my leg.
foot.
There's one. That one went the furthest. The others we can find
I'll find them at a later time.
at some point. We'll just hang out at the end of the night and look for dice.
First one is 21.
21, so you take half. So give me a second. 10.
It
Your dice thing.
hangs off.
And
my
the
head.
second one is 14.
The first one you take 7 damage from the lowest lightning bolt I think I've ever rolled.
And then
15 damage with the lightning bolt.
14 was the second one, if that
So most of the ones.
That does not save.
Okay.
10.
So 7.
You wanted to save on this one, not first one. Oh, you're gonna fucking kill me.
28 points of lightning damage.
Got me by 1, you son of a bitch. That's one knockdown. One.
These two, it's fine. I have infinite lightning bolts, so. Correct.
Damage.
You awaken
3, 4.
at full hit points from your rest, in your bed,
Ow.
on the ship, feeling like everything was a dream, except for the fact that laying next to you, probably on your desk or wherever you put it, you hear just this crackling energy, and you look over and your throwing hammer is just absolutely charged with lightning. As the hair on your arms seems to slowly lay out.
Go on before the catastrophe occurred.
Like lay back down.
Lay back down, and it goes through. So your weapon is currently charged with lightning. Stay in there, please.
Would you like a soda?
I'm good. I would
Are you
like you
sure?
to not dump all your
I
dice on the
really
ground.
put a lot of effort into this
I'll
direction.
take one just to make you feel a little bit more
Justified.
appeased.
Slave.
But you awaken on the ship, and you have figured out why. Apparently, I was having an issue finding what I was looking for.
That's a fun.
I was trying to find the other thunderstorm that I had planned out. Apparently, when I searched for Thinder.
Fender?
I'm like, okay, cool. That's probably why I wasn't finding it, because Thinder wasn't the thing I was looking for. Turns out.
You don't know
I do know that. It was Thunder.
You,
that. Oh, you were
if
looking.
you actually typed
I
in
was
Thunder,
looking.
but apparently you were actually looking for Thunder. Because that's what you typed.
I have to just replace the screen, because I have a big crack going right through the screen. So I'll hit one button, but it just like
Just moves it a little bit.
just the one crack there and one crack at the top. I know I should just fix it, but I don't want to right now.
You become quite
But-
attached to those cracks.
You wake up.
Lots of cracks.
Probably crew quarters. I don't know if you have a preferred crew quarters.
No, not particularly.
I'm trying to make sure I know. Make note of this. Which ones are crew quarters, real quick? Vehicles. Since we don't have them drawn out, but we do need to discuss how we want to go about.
I didn't kick my shit on it. I was looking at the one low. I stepped forward to pick something up, and the one up high got me. I mean, like the whole clicking of the teeth together. Yeah. It's like, I hit that one pretty hard. Yeah, it's leaking. I know. Don't.
These are all crew quarters, and then this right here is officers' quarters. I don't know where you guys want to sleep. Just kind of depends.
Quiz just kind of weaves himself a little rope hammock up to the top. And
There's like hammocks and stuff like that set up in the crew quarters
that's fine.
if you want. You can put up your own though if you want.
He's
But
up there in the top where he's at.
oh, up in the rafters. So yeah, you can do that. But you guys wake up, new day. Norin is still pushing you along. What would you guys like to do? Unless somebody wants to establish themselves a room.
What are these spaces?
Those spaces are, this one here is the sail locker, which now is going to be very, very full because it normally had like replacement sails and stuff like that. And now you guys are taking down all the old sails and putting it in there, and then putting in all the new sails. So you have a full set of sails, and then you have your replacement sails and the ones that are flying. And then this one, if you want to set up there, you're more than welcome to. That's the head.
Excellent.
That's the head as well. There are two
bathrooms.
bathrooms. Yeah.
Luxury. Both of those.
Two bathrooms and a bunch of Warforged, which means that not as many people are sharing it.
Oh, and then all the people we got are half people.
Hmm?
All the people we got of the crew are half people.
You've got
Still
four
people.
dwarves.
Dwarves and gnomes.
Dwarves
Yeah,
still mess up a bathroom pretty well.
Yeah, I can I see that.
What's that one?
That one is storage.
Storage. Hila would take so this is effectively the main deck, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. This is the main deck. This is the top, forecastle and stern castle, and then this is the cargo deck. This is all the main deck.
Yeah, Hila is just gonna set up in that room if nobody's gonna say anything.
Yeah, that's the officer room. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, you're more than welcome to. Yeah, easy enough.
She's yeah, just gonna take some time reading up on her book. So she wants. We're going to the place, so she might as well learn what she can.
Absolutely. Give me an investigation with advantage. See what you can't find.
Investigation. Looks like 16.
16? Yeah. You're finding that it's the home to Amunet and other Djinn. In theory, it's placed with many of these creatures. Lesser Djinn serve Amunet, but this is his actual like home plane. Some people go there to gain the blessings of the air so that their ship can survive for longer hauls without having to go into bigger areas.
Do I feel at this point that I've exhausted all the information that the book has to offer?
You're noticing that it speaks of 2 artifacts that may be tied to this place that one can attempt to gain. One of them is an armor that is said to carry the winds of the plane of air in it, allowing the person to float as if kind of like in your genie form. Just gives you some of that, and also have the defense of the winds. And then you also hear of weapons that can be forged by the Djinn in this area that can do different things. For instance, they speak of a scimitar that is capable of harnessing the whirlwind itself.
Ooh. No specifics location-wise, just that it's here at the Temple of Blessings.
And there's these things here, but one has to be a worthy champion, and upon arrival, pledging fealty can give them this reward.
I'm gonna go poke around the navigation room and see if there's any way that we can get a bearing on where we are, because I know that that's not necessarily how travel works around here. But seeing if I can gather any more information about where we're going and how to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. You're gonna go in and people. There we go. Don't have every name memorized yet, but Charter and Jimro are in there, and they're just trying to make an understanding of this. Charter will look to you. I have an understanding of this, but your guess is as good as mine. It's like trying to chart bubbles in a beer. What is here at one moment is there another moment. It's gone after that. New bubbles come and go. It's just the thing.
Has this changed at all?
So this is drawn.
So it's drawn.
Yeah, they have another chart or another thing that it looks like it would like bring up different things, and it looks like what would be this like awesome like chart. And the way that it's described, it works this, but it has to actually be in a system, the space system. So once you enter one of these space systems,
Okay.
it'll pull up and kind of show you where they are, as those are static locations. Everything else kind of seems to shift and melt and move.
Well, and as you were describing before, basically us getting to a destination is just kind of about knowing where we're going.
You know where you're going and you can go there. You may not know you can kind of plot out different routes. You know the most direct route. You can kind of get feels for different ways of getting there depending on how you want to go about there, based off of space travel through the three spaces: open space, wild space, and void space. You guys are trying to primarily work through void space.
Are we still in void space?
You guys are currently in kind of skirting the edges of void space.
Okay.
Charter will tell you it seems like open space has the most direct routes for anything, but we can get there through wild space. Wild space just has the, or void space. Void space just has the added detriment of, you know, potentially getting ripped into void zone, getting caught in a field of anti-magic darkness, getting pulled into a gravitational hole that they believe just crushes the ship. I mean, there's lots of different concerns.
So though it may take longer, it's probably the best idea to avoid that.
Yeah. Best way to avoid it would be open space.
Yeah.
Open space has,
that. Everything
has-
we've learned, the little bit we've learned at open space is considerably more dangerous than void space.
open space has much more skulls on the.
Like void space
How
has
does
its
each
dangers
charge?
of like falling in
Those
holes
skulls.
and falling apart, but according to those charts, the open space has risks of all kinds of other different sorts of shit.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't want to fall into anti-magic darkness, but when the whole list of dangers is in anti-magic darkness and open space, like, we don't know what the fuck is out there. We don't know what the fuck's in here either. But at least the implication is if they can't see us, we can't really see them.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to do or learn whatever it is that I can to facilitate this journey as smoothly as possible.
Probably a best bet would be to try to figure out where you want to put the three cannons, the Guardian figurehead, or you can help with putting up the Smuggler's Banner or the Defiant Sails. This is kind of what everybody's working on today. No one's going to be in here. That was kind of just a short thing. For the most part, everybody's, except for the two of them, are out here working on getting the sails prepared, getting the Smuggler's Banner put up, figuring out where you want to put the three cannons and the Guardian figurehead.
Well then, while we're deciding where to put those, I will assist with whatever's being handled right now for the most part. Whoever's doing the most on whether it's the sales or putting up anything else, I will assist in moving that along. But I I think the spot for the, I mean, my vote on the spot for the Guardian would be like riding up here on the shark's forehead, or sitting back like riding on the shark's tail. But so like he's like riding the shark.
Hit it from the back.
Hmm?
Hit it from the back.
And swing.
So remember that you do have the ramming option. So with this ship, you have the blunt ram, which is the front of the ship. Melee weapon attack plus 8 to hit, range 0. One object or gargantuan creature. Hit does 16d10 bludgeoning damage. The hammerhead ship takes half as much damage and comes to a dead stop.
Okay.
But you have the ability to just kind of ram them.
Well, is this
So-
part right up here the ram then? This
This
outcrop right
front
here?
part would be like the ram. Yeah.
See, and what I was thinking was like literally further back, like on top of the forehead.
You can put it on top of the forehead.
And again,
That's
that's
a great
just
option. This
a-
whole
like
area
a hood
here
ornament.
would be if you took massive amounts of damage. So like let's say you did 160 damage, or let's say you freaking hit it just right and crit, you could do upwards of 320 damage. Taking half of that,
Yeah, because
which is
that's-
like a lot of the damage to the ship. So I mean, you could
Well, that's just-
potentially smash most of this, but yeah,
and that's just a
up here would be
consequence of
safe.
ramming, right?
Yeah.
So it's cool, except for the fact that you also might die.
But you're doing a lot more damage to them than they are to you in that.
What sort of mobility were we looking at for what you were saying with like the cannon stuff?
Say that again?
You say that they were doing stuff for like cannon mounts and things like that.
So
what
they were
what
thinking-
kind of increased mobility are we looking at?
They're thinking about, instead of having the cannons just sat on the wheels, taking that apart and lifting them about 5 feet up in the air, having a little bit of a platform around it where 3 people, one person could be behind, one could be on the front, and then one could be at the bottom. The person on the bottom would actually use levers and such to aim it, and then the other person up top could load it, and then another person in the back would fire it. So you'd have basically 2 people up top to load and aim, and 1 person at the bottom to it, and it would lift it about 10 feet up in the air, creating, instead of having your cannon just sitting there, it would be like lifted up in the air, and then it would have mobility, and then it would have a 360-degree tilt to it.
Because my thought, at least adding on to that, is maybe have them on some kind of track so that they could slide from one side to the other.
They could do that if they would need materials. They would need a lot more materials than what they have for that.
Because with that same mobility, I think having them on a track means that we can load one side or the other and move them as needed. But if they're also still on wheels,
It wouldn't be on the wheels, it'd be mounted. So like imagine like having 3 points on this deck where that 5 foot square is now a mount, and it lifts up, and then the thing could turn and fire either way. As opposed to having, right now you guys were planning on basically having 3 of them and just wheeling them to this side if you're getting attacked on that side, then turning and wheeling them that side if they're getting attacked. But they're like, well, that's just uncivilized.
well, I guess I'm just kind of trying to civilize that idea up a little bit. Like they'll still be mounted, but just like mounted on rails to whereas they can go to one side or the other and still have that elevated mobility. It's like I'm just a ruddy bosun. Now, what do our master gunner and our weapon warforged guy think?
Well, I mean, this is their idea, so that's
Okay.
their idea
Oh,
is to
that's-
get that. If you wanted to build a track, they like that idea because you could build a track, a small track going like here, and then a track going along here, and having it where they ran along that track. That would give you the ability to move and fire more. You could even put them on tracks going this way, like a track here, here, and there, and then it could
Because that was my initial thought was
like
the
going
perpendicular ones
perpendicular
that way.
tracks. Yeah, if you did that, the added benefit to that would just being able to, get here and fire closer that way, as opposed to only this one being able to fire out that way. So you'd be able to get, you know, to these points and then fire off pretty well. They'd have to build a track. They would need a lot more metal to be able to build something like that. More metal, more wood. It's doable.
Yeah, there's
to
not
run
a
them
whole
along the
lot of
track.
metal and wood floating around in the astral sea, though.
You guys have some,
You got
like enough
some?
to get stuff set.
Nice.
No one's got it listed. Let me pull it open. They also have some materials as well, because they didn't come without anything. They're like, yeah, we're not going to just show up without building materials. But in this ship, and now granted, remember this is meant as, it's down in the cargo hold. You're thinking it's probably meant to repair the ship. But in your cargo holds, you currently have red ship. You've got 100 pounds of iron and 500 pounds of wood that they could use to make a lot of this stuff. But not necessarily enough to make those tracks. That being said, if you guys wanted to go to either COG or to Clockwork Space, they could pick up the extra allies that they planned on joining the crew, and they could get lots of materials.
It is definitely in line of being on the way of where we're going.
Yeah, kind of.
Yes, but also no, because
That's what I'm
as
saying.
far as you know, it,
like,
like
it's not
it
really-
could literally be like this,
That's
which
what I was
means
gonna
if
say,
you're
it's
going,
like, it doesn't
you could
really
be going
matter.
that way as opposed to that way, you know. But it's all relative. This is just more of a way to create understanding of what's going on. There's nothing set other than the actual space zones. The space systems are the only ones that have any of that.
Just kind of stuck in however fast space takes us.
Or whatever pops up in the meantime.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was trying to do, is get a handle on with the navigation room. But it's like, it doesn't really mean anything. So hopefully just knowing more about where we're going is a better idea of getting there. But even
Potentially,
then-
once you get understanding of certain things, you can also figure out. I mean, it's not like things are just going like, wow, but things like certain things do just drift and shift and go through.
The things aren't going, woo, but we're going
So-
woo through this.
You know, it's kind of hard to just figure out. So I mean, it could, if you could literally, somebody could path the trajectories of stuff, and maybe people have a better understanding of this could pull it out. But the Hato Z did not have a very good understanding of it. They didn't keep track of things very well either. They just sort of like, this is a thing, and then they did little skulls to say like, this is whatever, and you're not sure exactly what it is. You do have a pretty good idea that you're thinking that that has to do with how much of a threat they think something is, but also that
They're also dumb monkeys.
they were also Hato Z who were just kidnapping people and sacrificing them to some abjurant god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the most reliable.
So who knows?
I'm sure they had their own agenda.
But if that's something you want to do, they would just need to get materials. However, right now, getting to getting crew would be helpful. Getting materials would be helpful. But getting to Hila's thing could be beneficial as well. She seems to have the most desire.
Oh, my place can give us more air. That's the thing.
Hey, I'm down with doing whatever it is that lands in front of us. Point us onto some air, and if we get some crew and some materials in the middle.
Did Norrin have a preference? Clockwork first, then?
Norm was just like, yeah, let's go do your thing. It's fine.
Let's go.
That's where he's going, unless you guys go and say anything else, because he's pretty much back in the room there by himself. He can make himself aware of whatever's. He can view when in the spell jamming chair. He can see any part of the ship as if he's there, hear any part of the ship as if he's there. But he has to stay there and just kind of
Control it.
be locked there to be doing this. So it just depends on what you guys want to do.
Yeah. Hila's content then. She thinks that that's where he's going, and she's happy.
Let's go.
Absolutely. Cool. Quiz. You set up over there. At one point, a little orb will kind of float up next to you. What languages do you speak? Say, like Halfling and Common?
Yeah, deep
Okay,
camp.
Thieves' Camp. Mumbles a few things in different languages, and then in Common, it'll say, just checking. What is it that you seek out here?
Pretty much the same thing I seek everywhere. Challenges.
There are 7 great challenges that I know of in the Astral Sea.
Well, list them off from easiest to most difficult.
All of them are equally difficult, depending on how you go about the challenge.
Where's the challenge in doing the same thing 7 times?
Oh, it's not the same thing. It's 7 different aspects of yourself that you must encounter. So, difficulty would be based off of your own innate nature.
I should be fucking interested.
These 7 locations listed off are Grasping Hands, the Halls of Beauty, Rage Space, the Halls of Glory, Wisher's Vault, Drift Space, and the Eternal Feast. I think I wrote Endless Feast, but it's supposed to be the Eternal Feast.
Yeah.
Yes, things aren't all quite right. What can you expect? How does he translations?
Alright.
Thanks. If you want more information on any of these locations, you simply have to ask.
And who would I be asking?
You can ask me. I am 6. I am trained with this knowledge.
We still going to that famous place in the Astral Sea city thing? Port?
Sigil. You
Sigil.
guys changed your mind.
We
from that.
changed our
You're like,
course,
yeah, let's not go there because Sigil had 4 skulls by
Okay.
it. So you're like, maybe we won't go to Sigil.
So we're going to your place? Okay. Because he was actually going to suggest going to Ela's, the one Ela wanted to go to. So, where are the challenges to the place that Ela wanted to go?
I have nothing in my databases of this location, as it is not my field of expertise. If you want to know more of this, you may have to reach out to 2, as 2 is more skilled and knowledgeable of these things.
All right then. Well then, if you get a chance, send 2 on over. Or up, as it were.
I can retrieve 2. And just kind of hovers down. It's kind of funny. If you have see invisibility, you can see it's literally just a hand holding these orbs, but without it, it just looks like the orbs floating around.
Like a mage hand?
Literally, the only spell that they have is like it as a mage hand, invisible mage hand that allows them to float around. It's their only way of moving. Shortly after, 2 will come up to you. I was told that you needed me.
Yes, what are the challenges of the place that we're going to that Ela wanted to go?
Roll me a d20.
What?
Roll me a d20.
God
Natural
damn.
20. So that's a 29.
Holy shit.
Cool, cool.
Oh, you speak of.
I'm playing my character.
Let's
It's
see.
nice work with me.
Almaladh Alaman Amunet. This is the vault of breath, the crowned temple of the Djinn. This is
Here in the Astral Sea.
yes. It is tied to the plane of air as well. But here, a creature can create more control. Amunet has full power and omnipotence in his own astral dominion, whereas on the plane of air, he was simply a very strong creature.
So then, is he the ruler of the Astral Sea?
There is no actual ruler to the astral sea. Some believe that the divine council rules over the astral sea, but most believe that their powers push more to the material plane. Extended from the heavens.
So they just use the Astral Sea basically as their base of operation?
The astral sea is a place where one can project its will more easily, create a safe haven, as well as a base of operations. The divine council that rules over the material plane is actually located in the astral sea. From there, they create their dominion, and that dominion influences the material plane. If they were on the material plane, it would be much more difficult to influence it. It's like trying to push a rock while inside of it. Much more difficult.
So, being the Astral Sea, they're still in control of the rock, they're just on the outside of it.
Absolutely. It's easier to shape clay when you are molding it rather than when you are embedded in it.
I like that thought. So what is this Amunet you're speaking of?
Amunet is the ruler of the Djinn in the pantheon of the Djinn. A powerful celestial sort of being, very powerful elemental primordial god, if you will.
So what is his this primordial god's main influence? I say, like, is it telepathy, or is it fireballs, or what is his main
His ability to
psychic?
influence the land. It is said that with the mere word, his breath can bring about elementals to guard his location. He can breathe breath into a creature that has died. It is said that he has a strong control over fates. As far as his realm goes, it is populated by air elementals of all sorts, by servants of all sorts, and by many Djinn.
Many or many?
Many.
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 Many. Little tiny ones.
Yes.
Nice. I like
Hey,
Djinn.
that's more worrisome, I feel like.
Djinn are like fucking dust bunnies.
Fun
Say,
size.
fuck, the little ones always have more attitude.
Right? Like a chihuahua. It'll bite you
It's
faster
a
than
similar
pity would.
Chihuahua. The small ones got something more to prove.
Mhm.
Get fucked up by a little half a Djinn.
It is believed that gifts go a long way in the temple. Many people bring gifts to Amunet, and from those gifts they receive blessings.
Greedy guys. All they want is stuff.
The
They don't just want stuff. They want other
Benefit they
motherfuckers
give
to
you.
bring them stuff.
Right? They
I mean-
want your stuff.
Yeah.
for
They
a
want you to
gift,
give
they'll
it to
give
them.
you blessings.
Yeah.
You know,
What might these
Always
blessings
blessing.
be?
Always blessing.
you guys spoke of getting blessings of air. It is said that there are small bubbles that can be given of pure, fresh air that remain encapsulated. Upon breaking, can refresh the air of a ship such as this. So, on long trips, they can save you from having to enter into space systems or do other things to try and reconstitute the air around you. It is also said that worshippers of his can put themselves to a test in which rewards are given.
I feel I got so many tests going on right now. Don't really need any more.
That's fine.
there. Mage hand, levitated sphere number 2. I do appreciate the information.
Absolutely. I am trained in all of the divine teachings. If you ever need anything else, let me know.
Thank you. My knowledge in that is limited at best.
That is why I'm here. And you'll float.
Oh shit. That's why he's here. Sweet done.
It's just, you can carry lots and lots and lots of the libraries with you, or you can just create a bunch of
A portable
somewhat
digital library.
sentient libraries. Yeah, that's kind of what these guys are. They each get 4 languages, 4 skill or 4 expertises.
That was the vibe I was getting when you were describing them. Like, these are basically just little bookshelves floating around.
Yeah.
Which is, again,
just a
fucking
professor.
pretty, pretty
Personality.
fucking awesome.
It's a professor orb. I mean, it is sentient, but it's not. It doesn't have like an ego or anything like that. So
Crack jokes with the library orb.
let's do. So we got that. That's not the greatest dice anyway. Do you want to roll me a d20 for your travel through space?
4.
4. Do you want to roll me another d20?
12. Come on, good numbers.
You said 12?
Yeah.
Alrighty. As you travel, you're doing this.
As I travel,
I
everything
know
is
who you are.
fine. Everything is awesome.
As you are moving, you notice that there's kind of a sudden jolt as you come out of your expanded speed. It appears that the reason that you came out of this expanded speed is because you were affected by a gravitational pull. You guys kind of lunge out. This usually happens if you enter into area of something that has its own gravitational field or enough mass to it. When you come out, you notice that to your side, there's just this wall of blackness, this huge orb of darkness is next to you, and you can see these little specks and things just disappear into this void. And you realize that you are slowly getting pulled towards it. So
But
I'm gonna roll for Norin since he's not here. But
you know,
um,
the good news is you really can't roll much worse than he does.
you guys are being pulled into a void zone. It's a strong pull, but it's not it doesn't have a full grasp on you, and it's not overwhelming. So it's doable. What you're going to need to do is the quartermaster is going to have to, tie up anything, make sure everything's all set, pull the sails so that they're not getting pulled into this as well. Allow the spelljammer to try to push his way out. The quartermaster is going to try to get a feel for what's going on here and push the ship into a position where it can try to get out a little bit better. The captain's going to crew the ship and use his understanding of how the ship works to do that, and then the first mate is going to try to get everybody in line to push the crew to get this done. So as you are the bosun, you will be making a strength carpentry check. Don't roll it quite yet. Because this is a spell-jamming ship, I'm going to let Norin do a charisma intelligence. He's basically trying to use his spell-casting ability to influence the ship. I'm going to need a charisma check from the first mate and a wisdom nature from the quartermaster. If you guys want to choose whichever you want to do for those, and I will tell you your modifiers.
I'll do wisdom nature for the quartermaster.
Okay. I realize I have them, but you guys don't quite have them on yours yet, so it's just 8. Quartermaster is Charter. So Charter is going to be doing a wisdom nature. Is he specifically? No. So he has, luckily, knowing that it's Charter, he has a +2 to the roll, but he has advantage because he will be being assisted, but 4? Where is it? No, he'll be being assisted by 1. So he'll have advantage, but just a +2 to the roll.
Okay.
And then, so that leaves you doing Bareth, who's normally the captain, but isn't now.
First mate.
He's now first mate, so he's doing first mate duties. And he will be doing, you will have a +2 to your roll as well. But unless you guys have anything specific, he doesn't necessarily have advantage. So let's go ahead and roll. I'll roll for Norin. Hey,
Nice.
it's going to work. So he's got 14. I know his, I want to say his modifier is that, and then his. He is tuned to this. We'll say. So Norin gets a 23. What'd you get?
Golrak also gets a 23.
23. Very well. The quartermaster.
21.
21.
Ooh.
And the first mate.
I guess I'm dragging up the ass end here with a 19.
19.
This is going to be one of those things where you talk about it's you play your character, you're rolling for somebody else now, and it's son of a
I mean, we can assign like crewmates and stuff like that, but I just feel
All good.
I'd rather. Well, I have them all set up ready to be assigned. I just wanted to have Jesse here as well.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. We're chill.
Totally cool.
But they're literally all set up in
Ready.
ready to be added to your guys' character sheets as sidekicks.
Oh, yes.
If we get into a combat, we'll do that. But if not, we'll just. No, we got it.
Oh, well, good.
Right.
Don't.
Knowing us.
It's like, don't you
You
worry
managed
about
to
it.
you managed to pull away from this void zone pretty solidly.
Jesus.
So,
Oh,
Nothing
yeah.
too crazy.
Sorry
Literally
about that, guys.
didn't even like you hear of the threats of it, but it's like really doesn't seem like much of a issue at all.
Because we're all working together. Well,
Yeah.
apparently.
But you guys seem to go through and you get a pretty good feel of how these work. And you're like, all right, yeah, hell yeah, like solid. The crew actually is pretty stoked. Let's see.
What makes them happy?
You rolled a 21.
Yeah.
You rolled a 19. You rolled a 23. Give me a D4.
It's always, I'm always unconvinced this thing is even rolling in my hand. Oh, this stink, a 1.
Doesn't actually change numbers until it bounces in the tray.
That's where you just want to
Yeah.
do that, just bounce it.
Right.
Nice strong 1. It's on a D4. Which, I mean, what are you gonna do?
So, you just got a 1?
Yeah, I got a 1.
Well, your crew score is increased by 1 for the
Cool.
next 6 days.
Dang it.
It's alright.
I'll take that. I'll take a bit of meat.
Gives you a +5
Cool.
currently.
Sweet.
So, that's nice. Crew score caps out at 10. Crew score dips out at -10. So,
Nice. Hell yeah.
when all 4 of you here, I'll be rolling your crew score as well for most of these encounters. But just depends on where you're going. But so you guys are like, okay, cool. So that's the dangers of void space, but you have a understanding of where you're at. You guys continue along.
Yeah, just
That's not working right now.
keep it going forwards.
Absolutely. Is there anything you want to do for this day?
Eula's already been attuned and has been attuned to the shell. Because she just has just like the hilt piece.
Well, whatever one you rest in, you can do that. You can,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. She's been staying in Moot, the conch shell. Every now and then, just out on deck, she'll kind of blip it out and then pull it out into like a double-bladed scimitar and just kind of practice with it, or she'll turn it into a whip.
Give me a perception.
Perception. Oh, I already know what this is. 11.
11.
Right down the middle.
Yeah. That's fine.
Just about where my passive is.
You will notice that when you enter in, there seems to be just a little bit of water on one of the tables that spells out the word hydros. Looks like somebody just kind of maybe wrote it in liquid.
Hydros? Moot? What is Hydros? She'll pull out her book on the married and try and see if she can find any correlation, see what its meaning is.
Give me an investigation with advantage, because you've been studying these books.
Is there any maybe history behind this that I would know either?
If you want to use, give me
I know that's
it
previous
separately.
knowledge.
You can give me it separately. So give me an investigation
Okay.
in the books, and then I will give you that as well.
So, investigation. With advantage, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Natural fucking 20 for a 21.
21. There is nothing in these books about hydros, and it has nothing to do with the Merid. You're going through and you're just like, Nothing at all. You're not finding anything, any relation, anything whatsoever.
High throws. High throws. High throws. Interesting. She'll spend her time just kind of like her full. She could spend 6 hours in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think, right? Double the proficiency bonus. And she'll. That's right. Anyway. Yeah, she'll mostly just try and meditate on it.
Give me a persuasion.
Persuasion check. Persuasion. I can be persuasive. I can be hella persuasive, dude. With an 8.
That's
An 8.
fucking persuasive for anybody who rolls
Nope.
like a 7 or less.
Right?
You're just trying to get him through.
Rocket 3.
Not really getting anything.
But yeah, just meditate and just kind of work. Keep summoning the weapon in different forms and just practice. Kind of get used to how it feels.
Yeah.
Just
And
about
you can-
once a day she'll.
Go through and you can make it into different things. You can make it into your double-bladed scimitar if you need, if you want.
That's her favorite.
Mm-hmm.
She'll fuck with it. She'll
That's
bring out
something you fought with
scimitars.
more.
And she's used to those.
Yeah, single scimitar.
Just about any finesse weapon. And,
Mm-hmm.
but then always coming back to the double blade.
Yep. Absolutely. You do that for the rest of the day. Is there anything else you want to do on the day? There was one point you do, like when you guys first lunged out, you also noticed that like this kind of hammock thing you've got made up here was like pulling towards the edge of your bubble zone. Plus also you were kind of, you're like, oh, I should hold on to this because like you were just like
Right.
kind of getting pulled from the ship up here.
Oops. That's not good.
Seems like the further away you are from the gravity plane, the weaker it is on you.
The gravity plane.
So the ship that you're on actually creates its own gravity. And it's not like you it's weaker gravity, but if something else has a gravitational pull and you're further away from it, you are also affected by that a little bit more so. So if you look at it, the gravity plane is right here along the ship. That's where gravity, the line of gravity is. Fun thing is if you go below that gravity plane, you actually get pulled to the bottom of the ship. So you can walk on the bottom of the ship as well. But yeah, being up on the top of this mast is kind of one of the furthest points from the gravity plane, tied with the tail, the top of the tail there. But so in the void space specifically, you'll get pulled a little bit being up here. You could always hook something on or, whatever you want.
With that knowledge, yeah, definitely.
Just tie a little rope.
Tie himself off to it.
Cool.
If he's sleeping up here, but he spent the night up here, so.
Yeah.
Or his sleep up here anyway. I guess not really a night.
Absolutely. Gorak, is there anything other than helping with doing? They'll talk to like, okay, well, if we're not going to, do we want to mount these now, and then we could always dismount them. Any damage done to the base of the ship with the mounting will be replaced with tracks anyway. So we can work with what we have now.
Sounds good to
Just
me.
create a
So
base.
whatever it is to get some stuff done.
Where do you want to mount 3 cannons?
I would say just right across that main deck, since we have stuff in the front and in the back.
Specifically, like they're thinking they obviously mount it more towards the center row, but where do you want to mount it on that center row? This, of course, is a big hole going down into the cargo hold.
And I would say one on either side, right behind the fence.
So, like right here,
Yeah.
and then the cutoff point would be like right here.
Then yeah, right there.
Do you want it right against the wall? Do you want it moved out a little bit?
Moved up some, yeah.
Yeah, one more.
I guess right there in the middle between them.
Cool. So get the 3 of them mounted like that. Then we'll start working on mounting those. If you want to give me a carpentry as you lead this, with advantage because you have many people helping you, including your assistant bosun.
21.
21, absolutely. So yeah, you get a lot of work done on getting the mounts created. You'll notice that are you my guy? No. Would be my guy. It would probably Beetle. It's got to be Beetle.
Beetle.
Beetle, yeah. You'll notice that Beetle is just, he'll disappear for a little bit and he'll come back with just like perfectly crafted giant pieces of mounting system. He goes away and does that twice. Just comes out with just like huge, like very, very well crafted. The first time, the second time, does anybody want to watch or see what he's doing?
Hell yeah.
So when you watch it and he goes down, he'll actually go and he'll actually cast a spell. Tooltip not found. So one of his spells is missing. That's cool. There's probably a space in there. Well, let's figure out that. I'm like, his spells are Earthbind, Magic Weapon, and Tooltip not found.
Excellent.
Let's see what the heck I did there. How's that not right? He should have Earthbind, Magic Weapon, and Maximilian's Earthen Grasp, which means I probably spelled Maximilian's improperly. Let's find out. But he'll actually go and he'll cast the spell. Looks like he has access to the Fabricate spell. So if he has the base materials and the ability to craft it, which he's a pretty good smith, he can actually smith and stuff like that with just magic.
Goddamn.
To perform stuff.
Nice.
Um,
Sweet.
We have raw materials in our cargo.
mhm. What did I miss on this? How did I misspell Maximilian's? Looks like I have it right. Maximilian's Earthen Grasp, copy. Edit Beetle. Maximilian's Earthen Grasp. Looks like I have it spelled right. I don't know why. Oh, because it changed it. And I already deleted it, but it said Maximilian's Earth Grasp because apparently earthen isn't a proper spell or a proper word.
Apologies.
Let's see if that actually shows now properly. But yes, so he will fabricate some stuff and fabricates 2 very large mounting systems. You guys can get most of it done, especially with your 21. You get one fully mounted. Which one would you want to do first?
The middle.
Middle one. So that one is fully mounted right away. this little line, the base of our cannon. So one of the cannon mounts is created there. It's all set and ready to go. As you guys get one of the cannons mostly mounted today. A lot of work. The other one is getting started.
Nice. Pretty good.
We'll see if Beale's actually showing right now. There we go. Now it shows. Cool. That's what I needed. When you guys get that built, and the rest of the day kind of passes. As you come to a rest, still traveling along, Norn says it seems like you guys are definitely getting closer, and he's aware, but he's not sure exactly how much longer it's going to take. But he has a sense that it's significantly closer than it was. On our next day, do you want to roll me a d20?
D20. Take that. 13?
14.
14. Absolutely.
Why you stop me?
Because I can. Why not? I was already throwing stuff earlier.
Comes at a cost. Greetings.
Yeah, fair enough. Just tap your head.
Roll me percentile.
Percentile.
Oh,
Oh, man.
no.
Well, let's see what happens here. Gotta find the appropriate dice because they're all mixed up because of my wonderful skills earlier. 39.
Okay. While traveling, at one point you notice that something kind of matches your speed, starts to move in, and you see another one of these kind of spider ships. Just kind of matches your speed and kind of moves along, and you'll go through. Not gonna see you. Probably. I mean, are you making any attempts to hide?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So yeah, they're not gonna see you particularly. While you guys are traveling, are you just still reading, Ela? Do you go to the mess hall? What are your thoughts?
Having exhausted all of her bits of knowledge on Hydros, she would try and seek out, see if anybody else has maybe heard of anything.
Who do you want to speak to about that?
She'd gotten the rundown on the orbs, yeah?
Yeah, you have an idea of the orbs.
I suppose she'd seek out the one knowledgeable and the divine. Number 2, maybe. Is there one also attuned with nature? Maybe.
Potentially. Number 2 is the divine. If you ask, they'll basically tell you, if you want to write this down. One is specifically designed for like seafaring travel. He's trained in nature, but more of like the nature of the seas. Carpentry, smithing, and vehicles.
Maybe. All right.
One is, and while you guys are doing this, one is absolutely out here with you, helping you guys build, offering foresight into that. 2 is trained in the divine. History, religion, arcana, and medicine, specifically tied to celestials and divinity. 3 is trained in the nature of elements, alchemy, poison, medicine, survival, things like that.
God, talk to all of them. Fuck me.
4 is trained in the art of transmutation, as well as creatures of non-normal makings, basically like aberrants, far realm type stuff.
Okay.
5 is trained in the abyss and demons and things like that. 6 is trained in the hells and devils. These were different things that the crew themselves weren't specifically trained in, but they took and got as much information as they could and fed in these things so that they would have access to, depending on what they encountered while traveling.
Cool.
What do you want to speak to?
Me, probably 2. Start with 2.
Give me a give me a boy, that's gonna be rough. Give me just a D20.
5.
5. So that gives him a 14. Hydros means nothing to me. Sorry.
No, this is just extra research on these elements and the people that I worship. I have never come across it either, and I have grown up with these teachings, so no worries.
5 and 6 know of the lower realms, if it's tied to the lower realms.
Might try them. I don't know why it would be tied to the lower realms, but it could be.
It's not tied to the upper realms. If it was, I would probably know.
Fair enough. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time.
Just try and talk to maybe elements number 3.
3. Give me a D20.
Natural 20.
Hydros is the collection of water in the astral sea. It is a large city-like body of water that has no earthen mass to it. Fed by a direct port to the elemental plane of water, fresh water circulates through it, aerated enough for most creatures who have the ability to breathe in water to breathe properly. The sphere's gravitational force keeps the water together. Ships dock on the exterior and move around. Is there anything specifically you want to know about that?
I mean, do you know if Moot was reside in Hydros?
I know nothing of a moot.
Moot is an equal to Amunet in Almaladh Alaman Amunet. So
That's where we are going.
correct. It is the deity of the
Give me an insight.
inside 13.
13.
Oh,
There's
actually,
something specifically that you are looking for, which you were potentially looking for on the material plane, which was a direct vent from the plane of water.
right.
Hydros is fed by direct vents from the plane of water, which means it has pure, like, powerful streams of that water at its core, near its gravitational force.
Right.
The junctures in Hydros. If we were to go to this place, you are saying that they are direct jets that serve as portals to the plane of water?
Some creatures could potentially use them as portals to the plane of water, but I know that Hydros is fed directly from the plane of water. However, from what I understand, it is substantial force. Probably be difficult for a creature to enter that.
Of course, it is not habitable by many creatures.
Hydros is habited by many creatures.
Do you know main population?
Aquatic elves, Triton, Veridin.
Of course.
Different aquatic creatures. John, you didn't point at it.
I did not point at it. Everybody else pointed at it. I just looked at where everybody else was pointing. I figured
This-
the point had already been made.
Blaze.
Thought.
At least 3 times.
It is fed by the endless waters, then of the material plane of water.
The elemental plane of water. Yes.
I can imagine that it is large.
It's a very large city.
This city, do you know of any particular rulers? Or just see?
I know more of makeup, compositing, structure. I don't diplomacy.
That is fair. This place is not acidic?
No.
Kind of a crushing gravitational water.
Not crushing, but enough gravitational to hold the water there. The jets swirl the water enough to keep it aerated for creatures to breathe. There is a level of oxygen to the water. Not something that an elf would normally believe, but a sea elf or a Vidalcan would be capable of
Please.
sustaining themselves
Of course.
on that. Vidalcan potentially. Vidalcans normally can only do this for limited amount of times, but it's thought that they can do it for extended time because of the purity of the water.
That sounds like a place we must go as well at some
There
point.
are tridents as well. You also study poisons.
I do. I try.
If you ever need any help with that, please let me know.
Oh,
I understand the makeup of many poisons.
Always needs help with that. I had a brief period of training, however, that was cut short. I have a book that is supposed to teach me, but on my own I am having difficulty making way.
Can I see this book? Do you have it with you?
Of course. She'll pulls it just out of a pocket.
You watch it, he just kind of like floats to the ground, and you watch the mage hand, like you're guessing, and the book just starts like really quickly like leafing through. Goes back to you, and the hand like, or the head just lifts back up. Goes, I'm familiar with all the teachings of this book. I can assist you in learning.
That might be more beneficial.
Do you have, I'm trained with all the poisons of the material plane. Do you have any poisons with you
I do.
that you are not trained with?
I do.
We could focus on these initially, if you wish. Let me know.
That would be great.
What poisons are you
Well,
needing proficiency with?
I have this one. And again, just sleight of handing, like out of random places.
Mm-hmm.
I have draw poison, and then I also have.
Drop. You already did basic poison. You're working on drop poison right
I
now,
was
right?
working on draw poison, and it's just like, and then the kicker, wyvern poison.
Drowned wyvern are all you have.
Those are the only bits of poisons that I have.
Well, if you would like, I could teach you how to use them this evening. We will work on mastering this.
That would be great.
Wonderful.
She has a poisoner's kit too, so she can make basic poison.
You can make basic poison.
But she's trained
you're
in it.
trained in basic poison, yeah. At the end of the night, if you want to give me a dexterity check for applying and getting used to it.
Dexterity check. Is this something I could have Sun help me with?
Oh, you have advantage because 3 is helping
3
you.
is helping. Okay.
Yeah.
Dexterity check is 19.
19. Yeah, absolutely. Beats the DC of the drow. You are now, you were almost anyways, but you're now proficient with drow poison.
Yeah.
And you've also been studying wyvern poison
Yeah.
at any time. Give me
I just haven't tried messing with it.
give me an intelligence check with advantage. Wait, I'm sorry, do you have wyvern poison pulled up right now?
I have it. I can pull it up real quick, yeah.
I just don't have you pulled
Got
up.
it.
Yeah. What's the save DC on it?
15.
DC 15 what?
Con.
Yeah, give me an intelligence check. 13. You mostly understand it, but you also apply 1 dose to yourself.
Oh, fun.
Shit. Great.
What does wyvern poison do again?
Constitution save? Because
Yep.
it's a lot of damage.
Just
Mhm.
get in trouble, man.
Constitution. I'm not even sure that saves, actually.
Do you know what does work?
I have a +3, which means I missed it by 1.
Missed it by that much. How much damage can I roll it? I want to roll it. I haven't heard
Absolutely.
you in a
You
while.
can roll it. That is
30d10?
76.
70.
76.
Oh God,
3.
It's just a flat number. 76.
that's what
76.
That's
Just
what I heard. It's
76.
like Jesus.
76
Lord.
damage. Better than fucking purple worm poison.
Cool. That was a good one.
Actually, no, the highest is 42.
31.
Excellent.
Damn. That was pretty high.
That is not the proper way to administer it.
No shit!
Just coughing up this blackness and just. That was not.
I know they're not
Right.
supposed to, but
Oh,
these guys, these little orbs are kind of smart.
Understand. That is not the right way, of course.
It's like, thanks.
Oh,
Picked up on that one.
Fuck gave me that clue.
God. Horrible pain is almost paralyzing, but not quite. Just painful.
Would you like me to get the doctor?
Sure, that would be nice. Maybe.
Of course. She would love something to do. Venzus will come in, who's literally just been chilling in the saloon, and will come into the room where you're at, which was this one, was probably where you guys were training. And she'll be like, well, it looks like you got yourself in a bit of trouble. Not the best.
Don't drink the wyvern poison.
Poison. I
It's
fucking cut myself with it.
fine. 3 is good at what he does, but he's also very good at convincing people to get themselves hurt a bit. Wyvern poison, you say it was?
It was.
Let me get you a bigger one.
Bigger wyvern poison.
20 hit points restored to you.
Puts her at full.
You're at full.
Because she's been rest casting her armor.
Okay, cool. Just there you go.
Oh, thank you. That hurt a little bit. Also, that was my only dose of that, so hey, we won't have to worry about that again for a while.
So, I can attempt to find wyverns and search for any information on where they may be available. If you want to try to harness wyvern poison, I'm skilled in doing it. It's difficult because the wyverns have to be subdued,
Right.
but I would love to accompany you in
That would be great. If you wasn't mind researching.
that. I'll see what I can find.
I will try as well.
In the material planes, I know, but in this realm, not as much.
That is fair. Thank you for your assistance. And you are?
Oh, that was 3 who said that.
Oh.
But the one who came out and
The one who
helped-
healed me.
that was Vensis.
Vensis.
Vensis Zegelnegel. Zegelnegel. Sorry,
Zegelnegel.
it's Venxis, and then Zegglenegggle.
Z-E-G-G.
Le
Ellie.
Zegel. Neggle. All one word. Zegelnegel.
Zegelneck. Perfect.
That's a
Good
Vensis.
mouthful.
Zegelnegel. The surgeon.
Thank you.
If you need me, I don't have infirmary set up, so I'm just kind of hanging out in the saloon.
Would you like an infirmary setup?
If you guys want to set up an infirmary, it makes my job easier, but if I don't need an infirmary, my job's probably even more easy. I can always just make house calls to rooms.
You are very good at that. Yes. We'll work on it. It is nice for you to have a space.
Absolutely. And then she'll just go back to the saloon, just chill. Anything else you guys want to do? Oh, I'm sorry.
There is a ship that's
The ship
Trailing
did
us.
start trailing you. You went to go do that, and then you realize that the ship is near you, doesn't see you. I was asking where you were going to be because I was trying to figure it out, and we went on with that side round. You're working up there. When the ship comes up, do you guys want to do anything specific? You can see there's a couple people. Their weapons lower.
Yeah.
So you can see they specifically like the ballistae are like turned and lowered. So like you can see they arc it as far away as they can and put it down, sort of kind of as close to like a peace knot as you could. You can see that they'll like make sure like they visibly like in your presence pull the bolts out. Like it's all turned and they'll just like pull it out and throw it and just kind of.
This is while I'm fucking myself up or after?
Probably after.
Yeah, cruise out of the room and onto the main deck outside. Invisible sun with me.
Back in the saloon.
Fucking quiz? Hello? Anybody?
Well,
Who's gonna grab a rope to Spider-Man down next to Hila?
Shit.
Sneaky little sucker.
Literally, the one place I thought you would not be, you were at.
That one place I figured I wouldn't be. Probably the first place you should look.
wouldn't see you anyway.
So, who's our new friends here?
Looks like we got another spider ship.
Are you the captain of the ship?
I am.
We recognize your ship, but not your crew.
We acquired this ship from the Hazozi. we have purchased a crew, the Azozi were not interested in going where we were going.
Interesting. They didn't really want to part with that ship, from what we know. We had a deal with the Hadozi, as they were traders of laborers.
Oh, of course. I understand this well.
Are you in this same business?
Personally, absolutely. Short on stock at the moment.
Well, we don't mind you moving through void space, but we have to make the same deal with you that we made with the Hadozi. If you find any drow, they are to be brought to the Void Harbor. You will be paid handsomely for them.
Sure.
That's what I was gonna say. He was super
Okay,
cool with
back in this
that.
business.
Absolutely, I can make this happen. And you are?
I am a void spacer.
What spacer?
Asking me my name kind of defeats the whole point of traveling in anonymity.
Of course. But, Zra, to the nearest void space harbor, paid well.
I noticed that you don't fly the banner of the Tel Seldarine.
We do not. I don't. Especially not me. No, I don't.
So you are not tied to the Tel Seldarine?
Not personally. I've yet to meet acquaintance with any members of such.
Are you attempting to avoid them? Is that why you travel in void space?
We are relatively new to traversing the Astral Sea, and we were informed that these spaces are the safest for now.
They are by far not the safest, but if you are traveling with cargo that is illegal, I would understand why you would
Okay.
want to travel through void space.
The trade of labor. Is this something that is outlawed by the Tassazarin?
No, not at all. They actually specifically look for people such as myself, void spacers and such, to arrest and send to labor camps where we mine and do different things.
Of course. There is always someone looking for cheap labor. But for you, do you directly benefit then from the acquisition of the Rao in these void ports?
We grow.
Perfect.
Most of the void spacers you will come across are drow,
Of course.
and we do tend to benefit when we can free more drow amongst our race, or amongst our ranks.
Bringing them to a home.
Absolutely.
Of course.
As long as you bring any drow that are captured to us, you can do as you wish with anything else. We don't openly work in the slave trade. We don't condone it, but we really don't outlaw anything in void space.
Anything goes. Almost.
Pretty much anything goes, but I mean, if you're rude, we may also be rude.
That's understandable. I have dealt with many rude people, and they were handsome. So I try to be as kind with personal and I guess new interactions overall. I find this interaction pleasant. This agreement is only about the Drow.
And the drow is all we really care of.
Taking care of your peoples and
We are outcast from the Tel Seldering, so we work with the void space to enhance what it is.
yeah, I accept your zeal. We shall do our best to make sure all that we come across, especially if they are captured, are returned home.
Thank you. And your ship, your crew, is called?
Anonymity.
He's speaking telepathically.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, just message back and forth. 'Cause
You
it's
see just Elo just kind of like
Mhm.
looking out over there. Like
There's a guy
looks
who's
down
over
at
there,
you,
and he's doing the
definitely a drow.
and going through, yeah, a drow who's just kind of pointing and pointing. And there's a couple of drow out there, but there's a guy who's pointing. Yeah, the target and only the target hears and can reply in a whisper that only you can hear.
For now, as anonymity was preferred, we are the Hammer.
Original.
Like many of this kind, we are the Hammer.
Absolutely.
We are looking to specialize over time the ability to reinforce and to upgrade ships. We have great capability for that, standing as we are. But if in the future we happen to cross paths again, this is something that I would feel comfortable in offering you if you were interested.
Of course. If you are looking for upgrades to navigate through void space, the Void Harbor is the best place to go.
Just to know.
And if you're looking to trade as well, we are always interested in acquiring ships that can move through other spaces, if need be.
Do you have need of transport of goods?
We can always use a little help transporting things if you are comfortable moving through open and wild space.
It may take time for that. Maybe some other time.
Well, we wouldn't trust you right now anyways.
That is fair. For one moment, she'll kind of look to you two. Is there anything that you always be interested in trying to trade for? Are you looking to get anything of your hands sold particularly? Or purchased?
Not specifically. I mean, we do got to unload some of this stuff that we picked up getting in here and that we acquired on this ship, but outside of that, it's not a imperative thing.
I have a great many.
I'd be looking for
Have any cargo you're looking to trade? We could always trade for something. Is there something specifically you're looking for? You guys do know, as far as cargo goes, you've got
Mostly good.
you've got a bunch of feed. You've got
Iron, a flammable keg.
a flammable keg. You've got a bunch of pride silk. You've got the strange container.
Red silk, wood, container. Lots of different types of tools. Sealed.
strange container.
Yeah. Sealed with glass. Seems like it's got like notes and skulls and liquid inside of it.
There's like skulls and liquids. There's a bunch of skulls on it, like 5 skulls, like taped shut. Like, don't open this.
Don't do it. It's a bad idea.
Quit like, fuck. That just tells me I gotta.
It's like somebody hide that from him.
We have 3 chests full of green dust, which is residual. That can be pricey. We could also use it. You will say, I do have.
It is 5,000 gold piece worth of residuum. But yes, you can use it, and the cruise is like, we don't have residuum. We don't have wood. We don't have iron.
Yeah.
We need wood. We need iron. We don't need feed.
Oh, okay, I read that.
We have feed, approximately 500 pounds of feed. We have bright silk, if you have heard of it. It has naturally protective powers of the Leonin people. I also, if you are interested in arms and armaments, have a considerable small armory that would work well for Zrao.
We would be willing to trade the pride silk and the feed for wood and iron. Not a lot, but a bit. And
We could do much with
you had a few alchemical substances on the ship that we'd be willing to purchase from you. There was a keg of explosives and a type of acidic fluid that was very dangerous that we'd be willing to purchase as well if you are not in need of it.
Sure. The concussive cannons, do they require black powder to use? Or just magical cannons?
They do still require black powder, so you probably won't want to get rid of your blasting powder or anything like that, but there's also the keg of alchemist fire.
A keg of flammable. Yeah.
That they know that you've got a keg of alchemist fire and that you have the strange other thing.
We can absolutely trace for that.
We'd be willing to trade. Do you want coin, gem, material? We could trade feed, pride silk, and the keg of alchemist fire and the alchemical substance for a massive amount of lumber and metal. I see you guys are reinforcing your ship and your armaments.
We are. That would be particularly helpful.
It's smart. We recommended to the Hadozi that they did the same. We'll see how that worked out for them.
It worked perfectly. We offered them a great many things to acquire their ship.
Their captain isn't responding to messages, so
Right. We gave them a great many things. They had this wonderful desire to be with their god, and they are.
What do
Good
you
for
know?
good for them.
We arranged the meeting.
So, one moment. Alchemist fire. We can make that here. And I have some like alchemist doom and stuff like that on me. I feel like we can trade some of the stuff that we are not using for raw materials to get this work done faster.
100%.
No,
That's a great idea.
That strange box glass thing. Do they know what it is?
It seems like they absolutely do.
What is it?
I have this feeling it's some sort of acid bomb of sorts. I wasn't trusted as far as I could throw it.
You don't probably want to
Probably shouldn't throw it.
be able to
Right.
throw
Probably a
it.
bad idea.
So that you're out of their range.
Gorak's the only one who's even seen it, really.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, you guys saw it, but he's the one who like interacted with it.
Yeah, she never like messed with it. She saw it, but then she saw the chest, and
She was like looking at residuum. They're like, look at this. She's like, oh yeah, you've got that thing, but did you see the residuum?
Yeah, she's like, but also.
The good stuff.
Shall I try asking?
Oh, that's
Out of curiosity, this acidic liquid, was it to you?
500 pounds of iron?
Tries to hide the surprise.
Whatever it is worth 500 pounds of iron.
cool. Tell them to take double that.
Considering that we don't have much interaction, and the place we are going needs great gifts, we would need probably closer to 1,000 pounds.
What place are you going?
We are going to Almaladh Alaman Amunet. For
Go to your mom's house.
500 pounds of gold and a sealed chest that will get you a blessing. Don't open it.
500 pounds of gold and the sealed chest.
It's a chest that will grant you. Are you going for blessings?
We are.
It will grant you a blessing. But if you open it, it could destroy itself.
And when I get there, what do I tell these great people about this chest?
You can say that it is a blessing.
It is an offering.
They will know what it is.
Okay.
We spend large amounts of time out in void space. That's why we actually, one of the things we like to do with ships such as yours is gain blessings.
Of course.
We would always trade blessings for other things as well. But 500 pounds of iron is about as much as we can offer. I mean, if we want to just do business as normal, if we want to do business as usual, we could always just kind of take your stuff. You're not as experienced in space, as you said.
That is true. We are also not to be underestimated. You of all people should know that whatever you encounter out here is not entirely as it seems. But, as I said, this has been a pleasant interaction, and I
I'd
am...
like to keep it pleasant. You're new to this space, but you aren't new to Drow?
No.
Just know that whenever you see a Drow just outside of the darkness, there's a lot going on in the darkness. You start realizing that there's a lot of like bubbles of darkness, including some that may actually be moving with you.
Oh yes, I'm well aware. But yes, this has been pleasant. I like doing this business with you. So, we'll take this trade. The iron, the chest, gold as well, you said?
We will do the blessing, 500 pounds of iron, 1,000 pounds of wood for the feed, the pride silk, the cake of alchemist fire, and the alchemical substance.
I find this sufficient. I agree. Allow me to bring this up to Zach. And he'll kind of tell you guys. Yeah, definitely, let's, looks like we are in a good trade. They are offering us not only the iron, which is what they started with, they are giving us 1,000 pounds of wood, as well as a chest to ensure blessing from my people once we get to Amunet. It is
Do we know if they get along with your people or your god?
absolutely they do. Yes. They go for blessings regularly, and my people are more inclined to work, I think, with void spacers and the people who are doing trade and actively surviving, rather than the Tel Zazarin. Tel Zazarin wants to rule. My people embrace a little bit more chaos. Do you understand?
Sounds interesting.
You all, would you mind helping bring the goods on
The
them?
crew and such will help bring all the stuff up. Who's gonna bring the cake of alchemist fire and the alchemical jar?
The alcohol what?
The jar of there's the
skull
keg
jar.
of fire, and then the keg of alchemist fire, and then the alchemical jar.
Kuz will bring on him.
Yeah, jar is sealed shut, has a fluid in it, and as you're carrying it, you'll notice that it like kind of pushes back as like the fluid kind of like comes up towards the side of the jar, almost maybe you drawn to the warmth of your body.
Turns the jar.
Turn the jar. Eventually, it'll just kind of.
Fucking weird.
Someday I'm gonna wish I'd known what the fuck this was.
When you get to the top of the deck, it moves away, and you'll see it just kind of and points, or it's like against, like going towards the ship, the other ship, sort of.
Someday I'm really gonna kick myself in the ass for handing this one over.
It serves no use for us here, right now. I think this will serve us where we are going.
You see a couple of people. They have like white silk ropes kind of tied to them. They kind of and shoot off towards your ship, and they're kind of grabbing some stuff, and they're bringing massive amounts of lumber and getting everything all set. Going to delete the pride silk.
Yes.
Going to delete the keg of alchemist fire. Going to delete the feed. And then I will take the iron, and we will add, weight is now 600 pounds. Well, I'm going to say that it's 500 pounds because you used the other stuff in making the 2 mounts.
We used 100 pounds of iron for the. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're back to we have 500. We used
And
100 on the mounts.
the wood, you'll be at 1,000 pounds.
Using 500 for the mounts as well.
So it would require most of the wood and then about 200 pounds more of iron to complete the mounts.
Is
Like you
this
have
including
for-
our figurehead?
No, but the figurehead doesn't need much wood to mount it.
Okay.
You could use some iron to mount that.
Okay.
It has most of what it needs to mount. The other thing too is, well, the figurehead has everything it's going to need to mount
Right.
because it's meant to be mounted and it's set. It just kind
It kind of moves itself occasionally.
But you guys are creating something, like the cannons weren't meant for this, so you're creating something completely different. That's why you need the materials to do that.
Copy that.
But
From nothing.
Cool. And then chest of blessing.
that, and when you hold it, it feels like it sloshes a little bit, and it's super cold to the touch. Just the chest just seems super cold. Almost seems like there's a little bit of condensation to the outside of it.
Zont open this. Because
That's
it
what-
eliminate itself.
That's what he said, right?
Just
I understand who I'm saying this to. Zont. Zoet.
Now that we've traded, if you want to open it, it's fine, but you just won't receive your blessing. And you'll watch, he'll pull out a dagger, and he'll take that one thing, and he just cuts it open, and he just like pours it out onto the deck, and you watch it just kind of, and it kind of sludges off. And some people are talking with it. What it seems to be some sort of booze.
the fuck was that?
Some sort of ooze. Maybe. Some.
I can see your grasp of the office is as uncanny as his mind.
Of course. Pleasure doing business with you.
Absolutely. No, kind of. They'll drift off, and as they drift off, you'll notice that there's a couple of these other like dots of blackness that seem to kind of slowly start to drift away too. You realize there's probably like maybe 5-10 ships following you.
This place is fucking weird.
It is incredibly.
It's freaking awesome.
Once we get to where we are going, I feel I will agree with you more. This was nice. This was a pleasant interaction. Also, they say that any Zrao we find just in space that are not in void space already, if we acquire them, freeze them, capture them, bring them to a void space harbor, that we will be compensated, given a reward.
Do they have to be intact?
You're gonna have to understand.
They will have to be intact.
All right.
I give them to them very peacefully.
Some of them, yes.
No, maybe the ones that I get hold of, they'll be peaceful.
Look, we can make good money, good trade. Just information, just for your
Every single one of
information.
them that I see Jarlaxle's fucking face on him.
Oh no, if we find Jalax,
No,
we
no,
murder
I'm just
that
saying
son of a bitch. But
that I'm not saying we're gonna find him here.
are you saying they all look alike? Is that what you're saying
Correct.
right now, Quiz?
Basically.
That's messed up. They also waited until they saw an elf to figure out, and be like, "Hey, are you the captain?" So I mean,
It's true.
DX.
they're like, "Oh, there's some Warforged, there's some dwarves, some gnomes. Don't see any Hato Z. A little bit of blood on the side of the ship."
Scripts.
Where you guys kind of, because the gravity planes in the bottom, they just threw bodies off the side of the ship.
They're all just stuck to the bottom of the ship. We acquired this ship. How does he corpses?
It's weak. They got caught in the draft.
They would have no fucking clue.
We wouldn't. They'd be there just bouncing around.
Unless you go outside, you have no idea that there's just Hato Z corpses stuck to the bottom of your ship.
We acquired this ship. They're like,
What's
you're
that
fucking
smell?"
lying to us.
It's like we see them out here, but wait,
No.
what do you mean?
You have no idea. You guys are Norns used to being on a ship.
Yeah.
So just like throw it overboard.
throw 'em
It's fine.
overboard.
Just
Get it out of
jump in
here.
the waters. It's fine.
Oh no. And these people are not giving us any clues. They're like, right, yeah, the
Yeah,
house
cool.
good for them.
Yeah. Wonder where they went.
Yes.
Oh no.
Hila is exactly like her people. Wonderful. This is perfect.
Absolutely. Is there anything that you guys want to do on this day?
Oh my god. Just, Hila just wants to keep working. She doesn't have any more wyvern poison, but as much as she
He'll work with you, and if you update, I added drow and wyvern poison to your tools
Oh, thank you.
because you've been working on these for a while. So
Well, and since we got more materials, I'm gonna continue on.
give me a check with advantage.
Proficiency.
27.
Oh yeah. Which one do you want to get mounted next?
The forward. Or cannon.
The fabricate helps a lot. It helps you guys get it all set and mounted and built.
Excellent.
And you have those two pretty much established. Anything else you guys want to do during this time?
Mostly, Hila wants to just kind of take a look at and just. She'll even try and ask if maybe one of the orbs, or even if Venzus Zegelno would be willing to try and ascertain, and number 3, if they can try and ascertain what may be in this chest, or what would cause a chest to have the condensation and kind of sloshing inside of it, what may be in here.
Give me a roll for 3. Do you, and you want to talk to the Zegelnagel with your person? She can go through and we'll give her.
Was she a gnome or a dwarf?
She's a gnome. She's a gnome female. That's she. She's your surgeon as well. And she has no fucking clue what this thing is.
Fair enough. This is for 3?
Yep.
Roll to 15.
15, so that's a 24. Goes, oh, it's similar to what you are looking for. What we spoke about in Hydros. This is a temporary connection to the elemental plane of water.
Oh.
Should be useful if you had a plane of air somewhere where water didn't normally exist as abundantly. Something like this could be useful.
Huh.
As if you were in a zone such as this, that air wasn't readily available, it could be useful. I wouldn't necessarily recommend opening it here, as I believe it would be enough to replace the pocket of air on this ship with a pocket of water.
With water? Alright.
That's not great for everybody.
Most of the dwarf and gnome people would probably be upset if you did that.
Right, I was not do that. But this is perfect. This is a blessing for certain people. This would absolutely be a great exchange for the people of Almaladh Alaman Amunet. This is great. All right. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you.
Venzus, thank you for your company.
Yeah, I don't have any idea what he just talked about, but if you need stitches, I gotcha. If you poison yourself again, catch you on that.
I don't have anything to poison myself with. I'm pretty spot on with my training with what I have. But later, yeah, absolutely.
If you want to drink wine, I'm here.
Do you make wine?
I don't make wine, but I have wine.
Just have wine.
For
You're
now.
willing to share?
Your WIM?
As long as you share your time.
Of course.
I'm not a builder. I'm a fixer. I don't fix ships though. I fix people. Until one of them hurts themselves fixing the ship, I'm probably bored in the bar.
That is fair. You do great work. So give me maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes. Usually it's 5. I try probably for about 5 minutes, and then I just give up looking for his ass. But I was going to try to talk to Quiz, and then I will meet you in the bar.
Absolutely.
Just fucking try and find Quiz.
You can walk up to the deck and just be like, Quiz?
Yeah.
And you can whisper. And
Yeah. Use one of the charges
With your
from the
earring.
earring.
Quiz.
Who's down on deck?
She still wouldn't see you. Her passive perception's fucking nothing.
Oh, the club's standing right next to it.
Yeah.
I see nothing, just stand there.
Blow charge from the earring.
Quiz. Are you nearby? I found fucking shit. Gas, motherfucker. Okay.
Never be too careful.
Okay, let me regain my skin here. I was hoping to inform you that I know what is in that chest, so you don't have to open it to find that. You and me would not have a problem if you were to open this. In fact, Norin was not have a problem if you open this. Pretty sure at this point, Gorak probably wasn't mind either. I think we all still have caps of water breathing. But similar to the capsules we are looking for to fill our air supply, it is a water supply. Recently, I learned of a place similar to where we are going. That is a pocket of air. There is one that is of water. I also know of one that is earth. Solid mineral. Mining indefinitely. But there is one of water.
You mean the first elder?
The first elder?
Is that what you're talking about?
If the first elder is known as the Caverns of Gabs, then maybe.
Oh no. It is a dead primordial. They mine it for minerals and such.
Really?
It's an open space, mostly controlled by the Telterine.
Of course.
The
it's
Telsaldarine.
Telsaldarine. Of course it is. The dead elder is what you refer to?
No,
as?
the first elder.
The first elder. Well, I mean, that is a place we will have to try to find. This place, I just want to go everywhere.
We have other things we have to do too.
That is true. We have to go back and free the crew of the Black Betty. But my people might be able to help with that. And we have the ability to traverse between with our tablets. I digress. We will table the first elder for now, but we should go there and get minerals, right?
It's a good place if you're looking for minerals, gemstones, or caverns of diamonds and such.
That seems like a good thing.
Right. But anyway, this chest will create what we imagine to be a pocket of water. So, very, very pure, very nice water.
Water bubble, sort of like our air bubble.
Right. Yeah. For creatures that like that sort of thing. Sea
Right.
elves. Right.
Norns.
Norrens. Fuckers. Are you listening?
Just a little shake of the ship.
Shit!
Terrible
The whole shake, it like shifts no. It's like, no. Just Willie's like, no, of course I'm not listening, but the whole ship shakes no. But then he's like, oh, right.
Right.
Okay, yeah, so tone it down a little bit.
Also, Captain, I was not pretending to be Captain for my benefit. I was just being an emissary. We love you. I love all of your tentacles. However.
I'll just go fuck myself.
Right, perfect. Okay, good. He can't hear us.
God damn.
I was assuming he was listening.
How many of his tickles do you like the most?
Hopefully 10.
10 tickles.
10 tickles.
Maybe 20 tickles.
That's a lot of tickles.
That's twice as many as 10.
And you haven't looked at his feet yet. Who knows
He's not a dectopus.
if
He's
his
a
feet split off.
duodectopus.
Yeah.
No, that is 12.
Yeah.
What is 20? I will get back to you. If we have a Starbucks, it's a Ventectopus. 20.
Just a large one?
20. Starbucks, we are in the SLC. We don't even know the real.
Grande means large, and large means large. All of them mean large. You're just stupid in 3 languages.
Yeah. That's funny. I like that.
That's such a good movie.
That's great.
By the way, it's venti because it means 20 ounces.
I suppose we are in good shape then for acquiring blessings. I would say where we are going, if you have anything for trade or to offer, they can probably give you things that can increase your speed, that can give you capability to fly for short periods of time, things like that. These are the Jinn people.
So this is your idea of what they can do. That's all that they can do, or they can do more than that?
They can. I mean, the greatest.
Sure.
The greatest of these people are some of the greatest of what I can do. And we can grant wishes. I've told you this before?
No.
Oh, yes.
No.
Oh, yes.
No.
Oh, yes. Your imagination
Definitely told
is your only limit, Quiz.
There are actually parameters to the wish spell that most tend to follow.
Right. You don't want to lose the ability to use it. However, you can, if you're feeling lucky, attempt things beyond the parameters. Our people tend to just follow the parameters. Any common person who ever stumbles upon the magical lamps. Everybody has heard of the story, right? Of the great genes brought riches to the poor. That is absolutely possible with the wish spell. A commoner could do ridiculous things with 25,000 gold pieces. Retire. Their children will live great lives. That can happen on the daily with my people. If you have the correct offerings.
So, you're saying a bubble of water is the correct offering?
To give us a bubble of air, yes. To give us other things, absolutely. We must be convincing. They are generous people, but you have to be intriguing.
The Jinn are never generous.
Oh, they are always generous. Come on now.
There's no generosity there. If it's not for their own well-being, they fuck you rather than look at you.
Yes and no.
The Jinn are nicer.
They're also
Ifrit are more
yeah.
trying to fuck you.
Okay. all
Yeah.
right.
In general, Ifrit are the worst ones, but the Jinn are, like I said, I can only describe them as agents of chaos. And also, if we can agree now,
If somebody someday could ever describe me as that, I think I would have lived a good life.
you are in the perfect place then, Chris. If we can just agree to something right now, though, I'm not a follower of Geb while we are there. If we can just keep that on the down low.
So, who are you a follower of while you're there?
Moot Amunet.
That sounds like a moot point to me.
Good.
I think I just took psychic damage.
It's like, ow! It's like my teeth hurt.
Net is not here to make bad jokes, so you feel you must have to, of course. But it is pretty common knowledge that most the jinn tolerate other genie kind, but are aggressors upon the Tao. So,
Necessarily like they're free either.
yeah.
The Jinn being like chaotic good, Myriad like neutral, and then Tao are like neutral evil, and Ifrit are
Like
lawful
evil, yeah.
So I mean, there's just natural
Yeah.
disdains for each other because of that. But
The-
yeah,
The
It's
natural
purely
elements.
alignment.
Like I said,
Alignments.
the genie kind sort of tolerate each other for the most part. But I know particularly that being or growing up to be an instrument for Geb, that yes, Mood was terrifying to me, but Amunet, the Jinn are almost exact opposites. The earth versus the sky. They aggress upon each other, usually. So, just if we can keep that on the down low, I'm going to try to show that I am becoming a different person. I'm learning. Even now I stand and she's covered in the kind of frosty mist sort of pulls off of her, just these ethereal ice shards kind of sticking off of her. Even now I feel more aligned with Moot.
So moot it is.
If we can. And I would love to learn more about Amunet and the followers thereof. So, this is great. We have great offerings. We have what we also carry. I think we are in good shape. And there is only 2 skulls. Much better than 4.
Until we start figuring out what the skulls are, you're
Yeah,
probably right.
Yeah, I think we might have misread that situation.
2 Hazozi have died over here. I don't care.
they owe them 2 Hadozi skulls.
Meanwhile, our hammer ship is.
What do you guys do that evening as you guys do your thing?
Quinn was going through the entire freaking storage area.
Mhm.
What the fuck did he fucking miss in here? Just looking, searching, checking, investigating.
What is left in here right now? I mean, you're not finding anything. You're not finding any secret compartments. You're not finding anything like that. It's pretty straightforward. You've got 2 of the fancy suits, like the suits that like cover your whole body and have the big eyes.
Sealed suits.
That are sealed.
Sort of diving suits.
You've got 10 sets of basic fishing equipment. You've got blasting powder, 10 basically kegs. You've got 3 chests of residuum. You've got 300 pounds of iron left once you set aside what they need for that.
300 left. Okay.
300 left, and I have it on Jesse's thing. Then you have, there'll be 750 pounds of wood left because they did have more than enough the first time when they were doing that, so that was about 250 for
750 pounds of
750 pounds of wood left. Cool. And that's all you're seeing in here. Doesn't seem to be anything else. There's no hidden areas. There's no nothing big fancy or anything like that.
I'm trying to figure out what these are in relation to each other.
That's like the tail of the ship, and it's kind of like a. If you look at it, it kind of it's like a con. If you look at it, it's just not necessarily.
But then it goes out to the tail.
Well, so it's got the little fins off the side because
Only imagine that it's just ballast of
this
some kind.
is the darker line here and
Yeah.
ends here, and then it's got the
See where
little
it
fin
ends?
things.
That's that area there. So there's not a whole lot of room, and you could try to put something there, but for the most part, that's just solid, is what that is. That's the tail of the ship. Which, if you look at it, it's not very thick. It's not enough to like create an extra plane, but it's just kind of the back end that helps with movement and piloting the ship.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's not. If you could look at that in correlation to that, that's that wall right there is that wall right there, and just that area is that until it ends,
All right.
and then that area is that till it ends.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're looking at it, and it doesn't look like you can really do much with it. You wouldn't really be able to build into there or change that much without risking damage
Structural integrity.
into the ship. Yeah. Plus, also at that point, you're right below the spell jamming helm. You're not really sure how that ties into the whole ship. It's like, do you want to start messing with that? Is there a reason it's mounted to this back spot with all that extra area?
Yeah, do it. Fuck.
But yeah, so you go through there and look. You're kind of inspecting, doing that. Beetle will kind of looking at you and goes, I don't think we could go much further, but if you wanted, we could always bring it in some. If you're looking for a space. I didn't find a area either. Got the wood though, we could always build a false wall. Give ourselves a 5x15 chamber.
I think I have to build a false wall in there.
Would be a good idea.
Got plenty of fucking lumber to do it.
Once we're done with building and getting this all set up, I could probably get that done in a day.
Sounds like a premium idea.
You will go and have a drink with Ventus.
We do a 5-foot false wall, bring it out, and he'll kind of like show where you're going. Like he could basically make the wall like here, and that gives a little like 5-foot false chamber right here. It's like we could do 10, but you get too far in and suddenly
Starts becoming
starts
noticeable.
noticeable missing space.
Do the 5 foot.
It'd be really hard to tell for people who aren't absolutely sure. Because yeah, that curvature with it is not very different from going up
Yeah.
another 5 feet. It
Mhm.
really isn't.
It's not a lot of difference. Granted, if we did do 10 feet, we could always mount the teleportation circle inside there. That's if
it's-
you don't want to give up the stateroom.
Don't mind losing the stateroom to that, but it's a matter of having a disguised space, physical space on the ship. It's just difficult to find, and I think we can get away with 5 foot. It'd be much more difficult than 10 foot.
So
You can pace it off easier and notice a discrepancy with 10 foot where you might miss it with 5 foot.
Yeah. Agreed. I also spent time looking for any secret compartments. Couldn't quite find anything. Thought of one place we could put something, but I don't know if they'd notice it. He'll walk with you and he'll kind of come over here and be like, we could wall this off and create a little, like, just a small little area here. I don't think people would necessarily notice, but we could create a little secret storage there too.
That'd be fine. That
We
would take
could
much
even-
longer.
We could even wall it off here, maybe, kind of step over, put a secret door in over here, where people wouldn't be looking for it as much as they would maybe be looking for a secret door in that room. Or we could wall it off, do a secret door from the stateroom. Really anywhere you want to go. Could do a secret door from the outside, but that's a lot of work.
I think it'd be less than secret though to put it on the outside. Like, what's
But he'll stand,
fucking
he'll
door
kind of
on
walk
the
in here, he'll stand
outside of
here.
the ship?
And he goes, really?
You would fucking notice.
He's like, any of these places would be an easy place for a secret door. If we really wanted as well, that's, let's see, from this edge here, it's 510, it'd have to be, it'd have to be under these stairs, but you can put a secret door under the stairs too that drop down into that room. I was like, we pretty much have easy 7 planes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like above. Those would be the easy places to put a secret door. Just depends on how you want to do it.
Yeah.
Just another thought. I was also thinking it's not ever bad to have
I'm saying
places.
a way that the stairs
Oh, excuse me.
themselves could be the secret door.
And the stairs kind of lift up and
Yeah.
just drop down in there.
Because you've already got all the notches and lines of all the building of the stairs anyway.
A lot of people are
Easy.
gonna.
They're not going to be searching stairs for a secret door. They're searching walls.
Only problem with that is you got to be up on the deck in plain sight to open that door. Is the only problem.
Not
If
if you're at
you're-
the bottom of the stairs.
Well, the stairs are still in relative. Like you've got the deck and the stairs. It's these stairs
It's
too.
all
It's
in view,
they're
yeah.
pretty substantial stairs that are out visible. If you look at again, this it's that stair deck that you'd be putting it underneath, and you'd be walling
Oh,
off.
there, okay. Where it's
Yeah.
the drop down deck there, okay.
Yeah, because the drop down's right there, which is right here, and then the stairs above it is right there. So that's pretty much open main deck,
Right.
visible from all sides. So
Darn.
I could do it, but it would be harder from down inside the cargo deck. If something came along, like let's say they needed to. Somebody needed to hide or something like that. If you're just trying to hide stuff, you could always hide it in there. But if you need to hide, like people or somebody needs to hide, it'd be easier to hide when you're down on that hold.
Right. Do you make the wall look like it was part of that room?
This,
Mm.
like just
Yeah,
wall it off. Yeah,
right there.
and just look like
And have the entrance up in that corner of that room,
corner in this room.
right there?
Yeah, you can do that. That, and then there's a secret door here.
Yeah.
It's absolutely something we can do. Take me. I mean,
Once you get the chem stuff done,
it could take
obviously.
a day to do that, or I could take a day to do the other one, or I could take 2 days and do both.
Let's do
Depends on
both.
how you want to do it. Eat up some of our lumber.
Well, if ways of acquiring more, I'm sure.
If we go to COG or Clockwork Space, definitely get access to some. Or we can just find more things and trade to void spacers.
Sure.
So you do that, you get a drink, and go through. End of the night, how are you going to rest?
Hila's gonna go into her conch shell.
You go in the shell, and there's a piece of paper written. You've got the coral reefs, or the coral that's coming in, and the bloody gap is on there.
Yeah.
It looks like it's lowered. It's about a foot off the ground. And there's a small empty water basin below it. Nothing too crazy, just a small little empty basin. It's about a foot and a half off the ground. And there's another coral that comes out. And it's just this little mounted coral piece. And there's the note, scroll tied up into it. When you open it up, it says, you could always open that chest right here. You're realizing that that chest could be mounted in this and then opened. And the coral would kind of hold it open right here.
I could open it in here. Would that destroy this artifact? I don't know for sure. This is a pocket of water. This is, to my understanding, not quite a jet connecting to the plane of water. It's a temporary connection, but is it substantial enough? I don't know this. Maybe, just maybe, the people of Amunet was outside, or
Excuse me.
Moot. If you could tell me, I could make this happen. I would hate to lose your blessing, only to fail at destroying this thing.
Give me a persuasion. Roll low because it's better that way.
I always do that, right? Hey, it's a 10.
It's halfway.
As I drop a fucking single digit again.
10 with your pluses on it?
Because why not?
You're kind of asking, and then the paper in your hand just feels damp.
If I am to have faith in you, I suppose I should just try it, right? I am willing to do this.
You'll lose the ability to get a free blessing of air.
I have other things for trade. Part of me also. She's literally just fucking talking to herself. I was also like to let these people know that I am destroying an artifact of Gib and see what comes of that. I feel certain, either way, this will be a destination for us. Now that I know that Hydras exists, that is certainly on high up on my list. And she'll just kind of meditate on it. She can't leave and go back in on the same fucking day, so she can't bring the chest in with her anyway.
Well, I mean, it's a small little chest. Did you stop holding it? Because as far as I know, you're still just wielding it. I don't see.
Yeah, I didn't want to
Hila
leave it.
Just leaving
Yeah,
it
no.
sit around because.
Yeah. Oh, I guess that's right.
Yeah,
I didn't know
like
how
3
big
times.
it was.
It's
I
a
thought it was
small
like a
chest.
giant
No, it's not
chest.
like. It's a small chest. Yeah, like when I say like a small chest that's like locked, like more of like a little lockbox.
Oh.
Full extra large trunk.
It's 8 foot by 27 feet, and 40 feet tall.
I knew it.
It's,
I knew it.
It's a small home.
I can't carry it yet.
No, that's why like there's a small little like.
Oh yeah.
Like the coral reef, like it would literally like it looks like it would sit right in that and then open up.
I mean, yeah, probably after trancing because she'd still have hours left.
Book it up.
She'd take a big old deep breath
You know what?
Place the chest into the coral piece.
Kinda looks down, taps the blade. Fuck you and your curse, kid. Opens the chest.
You open up the chest and you see it's full of water. And you have, like, when it mounts and you open up the chest, it's kind of on an angle and it's full of water. You'd expect it to, like, the way you understand it, it should, like, burst open, but just a drop falls, and when the drop hits, it lands on the blade, and you can see just, it looks like acid, pure acid hits the blade. And then a few more drops. Slow trickles. And where it's hitting, you watch the water just hits the blade and starts to run along the edges of it. And you see just, as it goes, this blade rusts and corrodes, and parts of the blade start to dissolve, and it just becomes completely rusted over blade again. As this water just starts pouring faster and faster, seems to kind of like push back into the coral reef. The blade, eventually the coral that holds it gives way as the blade falls, and it can't fall into the basin because it's too wide, but it falls to you, and you have this rusted, destroyed blade at your feet. And in front of you, you're watching just this water just pours down and creates this maybe 2.5 foot wide column of water that now, as it raises up into the ceiling, goes through, and this basin that comes out about 1.5 foot, 2.5 feet wide, is now just this column of water that seems to be coming from the top and going through. And when you look off into it, it looks like you're looking into just this vast ocean. Suddenly you see this kind of fishy face, swims up to the edge, goes, "You can come through, but only once per day. When you re-enter the shell, you can exit where you were originally, as the shell doesn't come to the plane of water. But this doorway does."
Moot, I thank you for your blessings.
I am not Moot. I am but a servant of Moot. But this is a doorway to his ocean, if you need it.
Of course.
Opening up a portal to the plane of water inside your zone created this.
This is incredible.
I am to ask you, though, in exchange for getting rid of that, do you look to better defend yourself or better arm yourself?
I was a trained warrior for this maleficent creature. I am trained to be Zedley, but I'm trying something new. I was like to better protect myself.
And he nods. You hear like a cracking sound behind you. You see that on the wall behind you there is a suit of leather armor that hangs from the coral branches.
Yeah, so can bow respectfully and go over and approach.
Remember, once a day. And then the water kind of shimmers, and you can tell that you could effectively, if you pass through this, you effectively plane shift to the plane of water, to a static location.
Damn. Holy shit. Alright.
And there is what looks, has some similarity to the armor you're wearing, the mariner's armor, but it doesn't have like the shells and stuff like that. It just seems to have just like this, it's blues and deep greens, and just has waves and like this feeling of water to it.
Yeah, she'll doff the leather armor she has. She's in full genie mode, just her kind of chest wrap, silken purplish pants, her not so pricey jewelry, because pretty much everything of price that she had was given. And yeah, she'll put on that armor. As she's putting it on, just kind of feeling it, she's also just going to take a look at the palm of her hand.
There's
See,
no scar there.
the scar's gone. And she just collapses, just sobs in hysterics to herself for the last like hour until she can't anymore. Gains her composure. She can tell that the magic fades and exit the conch.
Do you attune to the armor?
Yeah.
You take your time and you attune to the armor and you're focusing on it. And as you go through, you notice that you kind of feel wet. You look down, you're not wearing armor.
Nice.
Um,
Cool. It just kind of looks like her normal garb.
it just,
It's awesome.
the water just disappears and it looks like, yeah, you're in just your normal garb.
Freaking invisible armor. It's okay.
Marin's armor no bag holding.
When you attune to that, you also notice that while you're attuning to it, you feel that your connection with the hilt seems to weaken. It seems like you're more connected to this armor. This armor is doing kind of the same thing as the hilt, but not quite exactly. You still have the hilt. If you want, you can focus on and make sure you still have the hilt so you can summon specific things, but
No. She was gifted this. Cool. She'll just kind of place the hilt. She'll leave the hilt in the conch. Just kind of leave it with the coin. Did was it a water elemental that was she was
it
speaking
looked
to?
like a Merid.
A Merid.
It was a Merid, but it
Oh,
just wasn't.
Okay, just wasn't.
It wasn't moved.
Did the Merid take the rusted blade?
The rusted blade is on the ground there in front of you.
Cool. She would have taken the. She's got kind of like noble cloth, just from like a pair of clothes that she's had.
Mhm.
She'll just kind of neatly wrap it, just kind of preserve it, ceremonially laid to rest there in the conch, and the hilt on top of it.
Absolutely. With that, I think that that's a good stopping point at the end of the night there. And we'll pick up on the next day. Third day of travel. As you guys get closer to the Temple of the Air Blessings.
Oh, jeez.
We thank you guys for joining us. Be sure to join us next week on Tuesday for some Weave Blight, as we play around with some of the fun for that. And then next week, so Weave Blight probably around 5:45, we usually get started. And then we'll be here 5 o'clock next week to continue with Oceanbound. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. We need more subscribers so that we can get more viewable on YouTube. Some people are like, why don't you just do YouTube? I'm like, well, we can't do YouTube until we get more subscribers.
So we'll do YouTube.
We
Just
already
subscribe.
have a URL for, you know, we're rumble.com/D&D on a whim, but YouTube, we're like youtube.com/xy422372899964278. Don't quote me on that because it's some weird, ridiculous number. But we can't get there until we get more subscribers. So feel free to subscribe if you like. Comment, let us know what you're thinking, and let us know what you'd like to see. And we will see you guys next week.
Oh, yeah.
Peace out.
Do freaking sway.
Just sitting on your back.
Yeah.
He's like, this isn't mine. I'm gonna.
Directly. He's just laying directly on my
Mine.
backpack.